Good evening, mi gente, and welcome to It's Happening Out, the world's most popular live gay television show. We're broadcasting live and then on demand on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire Television, and of course, YouTube and Facebook. It's 9 p.m., people, Wednesday, April 19th, 2023. Me? You don't have to adjust your TV. I'm not Al Ferguson. I'm your anchor, FayWhat? Al Ferguson's on vacation, or he's in the trunk of my car. Or we killed him.
I drowned him in the flood.
Or he's in the flood. But he'll be back with you in a couple of weeks. Don't worry. This is the first LGBTQ talk show of its kind in the world. We're going to laugh and play through our LGBTQ plus world. Next on It's Happening Out.
This week on It's Happening Out.
Oh, hi! It's me, Marsha from season 15 of RuPaul's Drag Race. And I want to know, how many times...
It's all happening out tonight. With your hosts, gay guru Al Ferguson, lesbian activist FayWhat, pansexual leather daddy Elimination, drag queen and comedian Auntie Maine, Latino muscle bear Jonathan Casanas, Gen Z political advocate Max Venning, Gen Z bear and actor Cameron Glass, leadership coach and leather sir Mark Pettitt, Indo-Caribbean artist TriniDaddy, Muslim American communications exec Kal Gajraj. It all starts right now, live on It's Happening Out.
This season forecast is the most diverse in our history. Thanks for joining us this evening. Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but for the LGBTQ plus community. Our mission is to support the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ plus community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our Black community, Latino, lesbian, trans, student youth, seniors, HIV/AIDS, healthcare, business, political advocacy, and faith. Help us support our community. So let's get this shit started!
Woo! My titties out.
Wow. First,
And that's the TikTok of the week.
And that is right. The TikTok of the week can totally be Jonathan's tits. I'm just gonna let you guys know. Make sure you follow him on social media. One big, long, extravagant name.
Close, you're close.
First, let's begin with TikTok. TikTok has become the top source for viral content on the internet. You can find everything from recipes, hot guys, hot girls, and vacation clips. And nothing says vacation like a cruise on Virgin Voyages. Virgin has been an iconic supporter of the LGBTQ plus community, and now Virgin Voyages brings that to an entire new level as your #1 choice of an LGBTQ plus vacation experience. And value is the word, a value that includes being an adult only, no kids, baby, Wi-Fi, all food from 20 eateries, tips, group workouts, and even essential drinks all included. That's value right there. And their values are also self-evident. Virgin Voyages fights for equality and the right to be seen, heard, and included. This is why Virgin Voyages is part of our best TikTok of the week. So each week we will show our favorite TikTok video, all right? Next week is Lesbian Visibility Week. So our favorite TikTok this week is getting us ready as we choose our lesbian with user @NickFrampton.
Choose your character.
All right, boys. So is that accurate? Is that all the lesbians? They mark everybody off. Was I in that list somewhere?
Lipstick lesbian.
Lipstick? Do you think you're a lipstick lesbian?
Do you think I'm a
Of course.
Yeah.
And a whore, but whore wasn't on.
And a witch.
That was weird.
And a witch.
And a bitch, but you know, all right. So, I mean, do your lesbians fall into all those categories?
I've been blessed. So most of the women that I've ever grown up with or grew up in my journey have always been that whole dynamic of what lesbian can look like. And so when people say about that whole that Home Depot lesbian.
You can say the cargo shorts and the Teva sandals.
I saw much more than that growing up in our lesbian siblings. And so when I hate we pigeon-toe them into that boxes, but I definitely think that is that we're allowing our lesbians to be seen, loved on for whomever they are and whatever they portray in life. I think that's important.
Well, I mean, I like that they're giving them more labels, though, right? Because when I grew up, it was only 2. You had like the softball lesbian, and then you had lipstick lesbian.
That's it.
You had lipstick and construction.
Yeah,
so that was the two ends.
But there's so many, just like there were boys. There's studs, there's boys, there's soft butch, there's hard butch. I mean, there's.
But I like that y'all are owning, because the lesbians I grew up with were just as bad as the guys. So 2 girls could like say, hey, I'll be right back, go to the bathroom, come back, hair all messed up, just like a guy would do.
Oh,
so I'm glad that we're finally allowing you all to own your shit and be like, yeah, like you said, there's so many, and y'all are just as bad as we are, if not worse. Faye.
Faye. All right. Listen, first of all, only Jonathan can call me a whore. Me and Cal. Okay, Trini, I hardly like you. You didn't even call my name.
I was totally talking about this other lesbian friend I know.
You have friends?
Wait, Faye's not your friend.
And my heart stopped playing.
Dude, okay, so, everybody talks about how lesbians and gay boys don't always get along, right? Does everybody at this table have, like, their own relationship with lesbians in their lives?
I have some very good friends who are neighbors in the same community. And whenever they have a party, it's a girls' party. So when we go over for dinner and other stuff, but when they have their girls' party, there's no...
They throw you out.
Yeah, basically they want their own space, and I can't really blame them for wanting to be around people that you don't have to explain yourself to all the time.
Yeah, so I do, and I take them everywhere, and sometimes my friends don't let them come with. So when we have pool parties or guys' parties, I have to leave them behind, and that's a little sad because they're my ride or dies. Like, I mean, straight women, bisexual women, and lesbian women in my close group of circles. And yeah, it's sad that sometimes we can't really commingle. It's either like the bear parties or it's all straight bars with them attached.
Okay, but have you ever asked your boys, like, why?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Okay, so they just don't want to be around.
They said they get uncomfortable if they were to get naked or something. They'd be uncomfortable with having a woman there. So,
but they came out of a vag.
Right. I'm like, they're just as bad as we are, bro.
I'm going to say the same thing. And so my point of view, just like you, I have the women, the best wingmen. Women are they get down.
Yeah.
They teach you the best. And so in my years, and it wasn't until I moved here that I realized the true segregation of men and women. But they party the best. Y'all drink
they do.
Folks drink they just as hard. They mac just as worse. They can give you the best pickup lines and tell you how. I mean, so you got to have that in your world, I think, to be a diverse human, And so, yes, bring them on. Now, I do agree, you have to have your own space. Everybody needs their own space to cut loose. But there should be times that we come together to learn from each other, because unless we do that on a regular, then we can't support each other when it comes down to women's rights, to gay rights, because we don't intermingle enough.
And it's like even extreme. Like, I invited my friends to Chris's birthday party, and I invited all the girls. And they're like, we can't believe, these are my bear friends, we can't believe that you're friends with so many women. We've never seen so many women at a party before. I'm like, yo, wait, you don't have any girlfriends? He's like, none. They have no girlfriends. Guys do not roll like I do. It's weird.
And is that a South Florida thing? Because I mean, like I remember, like when I lived in New York, like all the Latino gay boys were with the Latino gay girls, and it was a freaking party. You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Al?
Well, I mean, for me, it's my experience. The first person that I actually had, that came out to and kind of introduced me to the LGBTQ community was a lesbian. And I was 16 years old. I was at my first job at a movie theater, and she was a manager at the movie theater. She took me to my first Broadway show, and things like that, and the first gay bar that I went to. And I've always been fortunate to have that experience because I didn't, at a young age, fit into the gay community, and it was a lesbian that made me feel welcome in the community. So I'm really thankful for that. And always having a strong lesbian friend around. You and I are really good friends, and throughout my life, I've always had that one, dominant lesbian in my life.
Dominant.
At different parts. And I love that. I absolutely love it.
I think we are an important part of creating those kind of bridges, because like as a younger gay boy, coming to terms, it's a lot more comfortable to talk to a girl who knows the community rather than a guy where you might be kind of wondering about their intentions or where that conversation is going. So it's somebody who knows life through that same lens, but that you're not going to be as nervous with socially. And I think gay boys do that for lesbians too.
My best friend was lesbian, and that's who we were like really close before we each of us knew that we were gay. So we came out to each other. And I used to like think, I'm like, you kind of a Home Depot lesbian. And she's like, you're kind of gay. Maybe we are, and we just don't know this. And we used to go to gay clubs all the time. I used to go to lesbian spaces all the time. We'd have a great time. However, I do understand your friend's concerns because I cannot be a whore in front of her. Like, the only time I can be is front of like, people who I know who are like bigger whores than me.
Okay.
So I can go out with all you guys, and like that'd be a fun.
Then you're
like,
okay.
Yeah, but if it's somebody that I feel like, I don't know, I think maybe it's a little bit of a traditional thing with me. Like girls are just like a little bit more, you know, conservative and stuff, and like it's.
But women, a lesbian is ride or die always. I'd ready to go into a fight with a lesbian all day than some of the gay boys.
Any day of the week. But the thing is like I had kind of a similar experience where I came out around lesbians. That was the reason why I came out. Because they always had like 0 fucks to give. And I feel like we as gay men were able to feed off of that. And then we left them behind. We're like, no, now we saw dick, bajo.
But thank you for mentioning that. Once you found the D, then your lesbian friends were in the back seat, okay? Because I know that happens with older boys. And I'm not saying that you guys are older, but around this age is when you're with your boys, okay? You're with your men, and then you forget about the girls.
Yeah.
Like, it's Lesbian Visibility Week, okay? As the lesbian at the table, I'm going to tell you all, reach out to your lesbians and tell them that you love them, all right?
Yes.
Listen, when this Roe v. Wade shit happened, okay, a couple months back, and I was out there protesting, I expected my gay boys to be out there, and they weren't.
What?
And they weren't, okay? So every woman out there affects that and knows that and felt that, all right? So this being Lesbian Visibility Week next week, make sure that you come out again to your lesbian friends and go, hey, I'm still gay, you're still a big lesbian, right? Let's coexist and let's help each other out in some way, shape, or form, right?
Deal?
Yes, deal.
All right.
Deal.
Thank you. Let's be friends, right? Let me lick it. All right. Before we leave the dock with TikTok, let's think about the best place to make your next video. A Virgin Voyages cruise.
Come on, chameleon. You come and go. You come and go. Loving will be easy because I like my dream. Red, gold, and green.
I want to thank you, Virgin Voyages. I want to give a big shout out to Lindsay. Me and Cal met her a couple of months ago, and she's just an incredible human being. Hello, hello, hello. All right, I don't need a drink, but you boys definitely need a drink.
Yes.
The more you drink, the prettier I get. So let's play our yes or no game called I'd Swallow That. We have played this game since season 1, episode 1. We invite you at home to play along with us, all right? Get that big ass cup. You know the big ass cup, right? And just fill it up with a lot of rum, and then you'll be playing along with us. And the show even gets funnier the more you drink also, all right? Okay, so I'm gonna make 6 statements to our hosts. If they agree with the statement, they take the shot. Disagree, it's gonna be a very long night for me because I don't drink. All right, let's play I'd Swallow That. I'd Swallow That is sponsored by the LGBTQ plus community's favorite spirit brand. You know it, Bacardi. Bacardi is the world's most loved rum brand and a special sponsor of our nonprofit 501c3 efforts to educate, inform, and empower the LGBTQ plus community. And you can't make a better coquito without Bacardi rum, all right? Bacardi is as diverse as our LGBTQ plus community. Our neighbors here in South Florida, they are the world's largest privately held spirits company. Bacardi is also a legacy name in their support of the LGBTQ plus community with sponsorships, pride embracements, and deep and passionate support of our LGBTQ plus charities and causes. And that's why tonight, It's Happening Out plays I'd Swallow That with our favorite rum drink, Bacardi. Like my uncle says, Bacardi. Isn't that how your uncle says it? Bacardi, pásame la botella de Bacardi. And some limes. All right, here we go. First question, Katy Perry. Katy Perry is our favorite California girl who never stopped shining her light. Ever since her pop debut in 2008 with I Kissed a Girl, Katy Perry became a gay icon for generations to come. Since then, the star has shattered records around the world, earned 5 #1 singles off of 1 album, and solidified herself as a defining artist in pop and music overall. During her performance at her residency play in Vegas, she thanked the gay community for her success. She said, quote, they have been such big admirers and fans and influences for me. The fan base that comes to this show is very much so that community. I would say it's probably 50% of the audience, end quote. Question number 1, with Bacardi shot, I'd swallow that. Katy Perry kissed a girl. Then I love that she thanked the LGBTQ plus community for her legendary career.
Yes.
Drinking.
So,
I'm so excited to actually go see this show in July.
In Vegas.
In Vegas. I'm going to be there for a work conference, and I got my tickets to go see her by myself. So it's like one of the first concerts I'm actually going to by myself, and I'm super excited about it.
She puts on an amazing concert. I went and saw her, and I will just tell you, a lot of artists, I think, can sometimes kind of come out with the community, and you're not sure, like, is that bullshit? And you're just trying to sell tickets to us. Her concert from the beginning to end is so much about self-love, loving other people, not in spite of their differences, but because of them, and really embracing them. She's awesome.
I drank because more performers need to realize that had it not be for the queer community, they would not be making money. They would not be selling shows. And think about all the folks who had Vegas tours are all gay icons. Folks who, and so the bad joke used to be they were losing that touch when they performed at gay prides. But it's the opposite. We keep celebrities in fashion. And so kudos to her for recognizing that piece. It's beyond the hair, it's beyond the makeup. It's those people who are buying the tickets, yelling in the audiences and standing in line. So not only did I kiss the girl, I kissed you twice. But, I loved it.
You did?
And I never realized that her hit song, Walking on Air, became like a gay anthem. And she's even said that as well. Like the gays, like that's the #1 song that they love. And it's just pretty incredible.
Well, I think it's because people forget, like, she came from like a born-again Christian household.
She started as a Christian singer, and her parents are Christian ministers.
Yeah.
Her parents
both of them?
ministers, okay?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we forget about that.
Yeah. She was able to break out of that, where she says, like, in her household, like, to be gay was an abomination. Like, it was an absolute sin. So it's crazy that she was able to grow out of that. And I think her parents did too. I'm not too sure. But to get to this place where now she's kind of a gay icon is pretty amazing.
Well, and in 2011, she said something like out of term, about the trans community. And we've all made mistakes, okay? And I'm the first one to say that I have made plenty of mistakes. And what you do is you rectify it. You apologize and you try not to do it again, right? And so I don't remember what it was that she said, but she did exactly that. She came back, she apologized. She said, look, I effed up. I learned from it. Let's move on. And I think that she's been able to do that. Here we are 10 years later, and I think more than 50% of her audience is gay at any of those shows. You know what I mean? Think about it. It's Vegas. Vegas love, gays love Vegas.
Yeah.
Do they?
But not only that, like
shows and stuff like that.
Sure.
Big, like,
that's all I did was go to shows.
Yeah, her popularity is pretty mainstream because she's on American Idol as a judge. We know that so many people watch American Idol across the country as well. So middle America, metropolitan America, everywhere else, old, young, gay, straight, everyone's loving Katy Perry now.
Yeah. Oh, and when somebody comes out on American Idol, because everybody's got the sad story, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you ever watch American Idol? You're like, okay, who's got cancer? Who's gonna die? What do you got? You're gay. You're something. Right? And so every time somebody comes out, she's the one that will go because, Luke Bryan will be like, I'm country, I hate gays, right? And, and Lionel Richie is like, you do you, boo, whatever you want. But Katy Perry's always the one that's like, crying with them, giving them a tissue.
She's the one that had that moment with that guy who said wig. Do you guys not remember that moment? No. There's a guy I follow on TikTok, and we became friends, and I didn't realize it was him. Well, they had a moment, him and Katy Perry had a moment on the audition because she knew. Like, they just looked at each other, and there was a story there. And he's like, okay, I'm ready, wig. And she's like, wig. And they were like, what did you say? He's like, wig. And through that word, she knew that he was LGBT and that she was supportive. And they were like, wait, we don't get the joke. And she's like, there's no joke. We just get it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I love that. That goes back to that. We talked about how when we, in our moments of need, we go back to our drag sisters, our siblings who put on that powerful moment, that wig of power, that symbol of power. I can do all things by transforming. He saw himself in that wig gave him power, and he performed. And like you said, she recognized because again, she probably has that moment where she dawns on that drag, and she becomes amazing. And so I love that.
Well, and let's go back to the song. Okay, I kissed a girl and I liked it. Okay, for a lesbian, when that song came out, I was like, oh my God, thank God. If it would have been
an option.
a gay artist, if it would have a gay artist that would come out with that song would have made nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, that song was everywhere. Okay, gay boys were like, I kissed a girl. Everybody was singing that song, and she made it okay to just
Well,
I kissed a girl and I liked it. Didn't mean anything else. Didn't mean I'm gay. Didn't mean I have to come out to the world. It just means that I tried something new and it was okay.
Well, and Jill Sobule did a song, I Kissed a Girl, and you've never heard of that because she was gay. And it was probably, I don't know, 12, 13 years before Katy Perry.
Wow. Interesting. All right. Well, if you're not following Katy Perry, follow her. Next, earlier this month, farmer Antonio Moreno announced that he'd be running for mayor of Carcelén, a remote town about a 3-hour drive southeast of Madrid, where I will be in 2 weeks. So thanks to this sexy candidate, the mayor race in a small town has become the talk of the internet. And while Antonio may lack political experience, he's certainly no stranger to a life of service, baby. Up until about 6 years ago, Moreno was an adult film star who went by the moniker Hector de Silva. This candidate has spent a handful of years in the spotlight, and at this point, he's got nothing to hide. Question number 2 of the Bacardi shot. I'd swallow that. Spain's power porn top is now topping city running for mayor. What do you kids think?
So are we supposed, like, if we're for him to take a shot? Oh, okay. So I'm not.
He's adorable.
He's adorable,
So
yeah.
why
But
don't you drink
I'm not
now?
taking the shot because the party that he represents is the conservative party in Spain, and they vote against LGBTQ rights in the country.
Okay.
So why would he run on that philosophy that, you know, he's for the gay community when the party he's running and representing is not for that?
Well, maybe
Yeah, but
what
maybe
is
he
he
can
planning
change
to
that.
change?
Yeah.
Or maybe he can help change that, or maybe shine some light on some things that they're not seeing. I mean,
Well,
I get, it's a possibility, but I mean, you saw what happened this past week at Pride when that House representative,
Wasabi,
you know, got
POS.
booed in the parade, you know, and he's voting against, you know, all these LGBTQ, you know, legislation that he said he was going to be an ally for the gay community, and look what happened, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't believe him.
So does that mean that you can't be a gay and a Republican?
No, it doesn't mean that, but
that's not true.
I
There's plenty of
don't
people
believe
who are Republican.
that he would run on the platform that he's going to
You think
be
he's
there
gonna
for
run
gay
on
rights.
an anti-gay platform?
I don't know, but the party,
was
the,
obviously not possible.
Right.
He's taking dick
Yeah.
like on screen and he's admitting to it.
Yeah.
let me tell you something. These politicians say whatever they want to say for
Absolutely.
them, for you to get their vote.
Together.
But when it's time for them to vote on legislation, it changes everything, and we can't control that.
I agree with you, Cal, but this town is this small.
This town-
like this town is, it's not Madrid, it's not Barcelona. The
And
place
he's
is
like this
and
big.
He's this big. So he might put that town on the map. There could be a difference to be
Yeah.
made.
And so to that point, let's look at it another whole nother. I drank because as a gay porn star, he knows how to time management. He knows how to get from shoot to shoot. He knows how to balance a budget because he wants his coins. He knows how to work a calendar. He can take multiple at a time. And he's people friendly, so he probably has never met a bottom or body that he didn't like. And so let's give him this props for that. Like maybe he can go in there and utilize all those skills that he has learned along the way to make the town better. So I drank because hell yeah, use all that shit.
Yeah.
He's personable.
Listen, I think it's going to be great at customer service. You know what I mean?
He can multitask.
You know, he's gonna be serving his public in all kinds of
He can do
ways.
this way and that way and up that way. You know, he can do it all at one time.
Yeah.
I love
mean,
it.
I know we're making fun of it, but I mean, again, at the end
But
of the
it's
day, the
real.
representation is important, folks.
Yes.
You know, even if it is in a town that's 3 hours away from a main city in Spain, I mean, it's still a gay person being mayor.
Well, when we talk about this in the show before, right? It's when we talk about morals, you know, like what kind of representation do we want? And I guess the sticky part of it is, sorry to touch your nipple. Well,
You can do it
the
again.
sticky part of it is that it's not only an LGBTQ representation, it's now a porn star. And what happens here in America is that's been looked down upon.
Sex work is.
Over there,
Yeah.
I'm not too sure.
Okay.
You know, I'm not too sure how people see that. But at this table, what do you guys think? Do you think because he's a porn star, he should not be running, or that they don't think he should be running, or is that the representation we don't want?
I think he should be clear about what he's representing because the story is like he was a porn star. Now he's just you know, a simple farmer.
A servant of the community.
Yeah, you go, look him up on Instagram. He still has that kind of identity there. So I think it's great to be whatever you want, but just be sure about what you
I
are.
still stand by, not only that, be sure who you are, but I still stand by, look at his journey. He's been able to make a name for himself by doing by working. And so if you can do that, it takes talent to build a name, to build a brand, to manage your money, and to be able to be at every shoot. All those things are what politicians do. They have to go out there. They have to be friendly.
And
They
screwing
have
people.
Well, that's America.
Wow.
That's the Caucasian
Way to put those
America,
thoughts together.
but I'm sorry. But at the end of the day, let's look at that, and that goes back to sex work is work.
Yeah.
So he did a job. He never ran from the job. He's not giving Joe, politician, to use that as against him. He's owning all his stuff, and let's look at the positive. All of that makes him successful.
Yeah.
But to your point about, to your point about, I've been wrestling with this for years about like what level can somebody who has either a porn star or a sex tape out there, like at what level of society can you?
You've really been wrestling with that for years?
I have. Well, because
you can be the freaking president.
No, because of me being a teacher. Right?
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, well, what happens when you have a teacher who has, let's say they weren't even in porn, but their boyfriend does this revenge porn thing and posts stuff about them, even though it was never their intention. Nevertheless, it's still out there for all their students to look at.
And they would probably get fired. And so still affects his job.
Right, but and I feel bad because this teacher is like, a great teacher, and like, should they never have the opportunity to teach again because their students can go online and see them naked or see them having sex?
No.
And like, I mean,
so what are you wrestling with? Because it sounds like you're
I don't know.
Okay, so maybe he can't go work at a Christian school, but there should be no reason. There's such a huge stigma on sex
but
work,
he's
and
not.
it's
You're not
work.
really wrestling with that because as you were describing it, it seemed like you're more on the teacher's side.
I'm not. I don't know though, because I don't think that a student should be able to Google their teacher having sex.
But it was an accident or a mistake or in the past.
It was
It is no
in the
longer
past.
your-
In the past.
Okay, so
It is no longer your
why
now.
is your past going to constantly come and like scare you in the face? Like, what is it? I mean, it happened in the past.
Yeah.
Something that happened 20 years ago. You're still having to fight for it today?
If there's no record of it, but I'm saying, things on the internet don't die.
They don't.
So if they're on there and they're actually able to see that, like, I don't know. I don't know.
Let's be clear. The kid is only here because his parents had sex. So let's take out the stigma of no one can have sex, whether it was on film or not. He's doing what comes naturally. And that argument to me sounds like all of the DeSantis folks who say, you know what, I want to eliminate Black history because I don't want you to see my grandmother who was out there yelling at that Black girl that she can't go to school. It happened, own it, realize it, and
learn from it, and let's move on.
From it. Like it's a natural
Okay,
thing.
listen, sex work is work, and things that happen in the past need to be left there.
Just pay your taxes.
Okay, pay your taxes and be a good man. All right. Next up, Lil Nas X turned 24 years old on April 9th, and to celebrate, he threw a big ass party, which was attended by several celebrity guests. That was not it. Lil Nas X also worked on a very special photo shoot inspired by Playboy. He renamed the publication to Batty Boy, a reference to the Jamaican slang often used as a slur against gay and or effeminate men. And yet, it seems like Lil Nas X is reclaiming the expression and now using it in an empowering way that inspires self-acceptance. We can't wait to see him dominate pop culture like he's been doing. Question number 3, with a Bacardi shot, I'd swallow that. Did Lil Nas X pretend he was a Playboy model celebrating his 24th birthday and make Batty Boy an okay word to say again?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
Nah, I'm not feeling it. Like I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's the wig. I'm not sure. And maybe it's because I don't connect with Batty Boy. But we were having this conversation earlier. I'm like, is it cool to say it? But I also like to reclaim things. Like I don't.
We took back queer.
Yeah, it's not my favorite though, right? Like are you talking about
still
this?
not your favorite.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I grew up like Batty Boy, fag, and queer. They were really traumatizing to me, where it was on, like you were catching hands the moment you said it. And so reclaiming it, sure, is a great thing for others. For me, it's still sticky. So I don't know if it's the word or if it's the whole image that I'm not connecting with, but I'm not feeling it just yet. But him looking like Andre 3000 on the right or whatever, I'm feeling so.
Lil Nas X.
And I feel differently.
Caribbean boy. I love the reclaiming of Batty Boy.
Yeah.
I've said it a number of times. Like, I don't like the F word or the N word in its full form with the hard R's. And And even when it's shortened, I just still don't like it. Like, I just, I don't refer to myself that way.
Yeah.
But when
But
Batty
this Jamaican
Boy,
slur is
I
okay.
fucking love it.
You
And
just
you
use
guys
the
can
F word.
call that to me, and you can put Sean Paul on, you can put Soca Music on or something and call it. Like, I just think that it's really fun. I'm not feeling the pictures like you are. That's not my aesthetic.
Yeah, maybe it's the
I think he's a really handsome guy. I just don't, that's not my thing, but Batty Boy all day long.
Okay,
Okay, all right.
I'm loving everything from the curve of his hip to the cheek, that little
The
cheek
heels.
showing. I'm going from the cheek.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm down with the cheek.
I'm going with that, and then the heels. And so the aesthetic is amazingly beautiful because it's now taking over all the stigmas that men can still be sexy wearing heels, and you don't have to be in a certain persona to wear it. And I do agree with you that by reclaiming that is amazing. Moving down here in South Florida with all my Caribbean friends, we go out to Alabama, and we joke about it, and the moment we know it, either two things are happening. We need to look for that cute guy that you're talking about, or we're looking for that person that's putting on a show. Like one of those things. And it's all positive and it's fun.
Yeah.
And so I love everything about him because that's what he's known for, is taking back ownership of, I am not going to allow you to put me down and stigmatize me. But guess what? I can call myself that. And look how amazing he's toned, he's fit, that curve. Okay, I'm going to go back to the curve.
Here we go back to the curve.
I spent a lot of time. And so I like that space more than Andre 3000 because this one seems a little bit more sexier to me.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay,
No,
we
and
know you're the top.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
I mean, I sort of agree, I agree with John, I think. And the reason is because in Latino culture, right, especially Colombian culture, marica is everything, okay?
Yeah.
And marica and maricón means fag, right? And it's used in such a derogatory way that I grew up hearing that as something bad, as something that you would call somebody to put them down.
And that's the same way this word is used growing up, because coming from an Indo-Caribbean background as well, and that's why I love this so much. It's because it's reclaiming that word, because I was referenced this way growing up as well, because it refers to, you know, an effeminate, you know, guy, like, and these guys are just like a little girly, you know, and you know, they always have like that little, is like, oh, is he like this? You know, and I know, and I saw that growing up with like my parents' friends, and they're like, oh, is he? You know, like that, and I can see that, you know? So seeing a cover like this, and of course, like the whole branding thing of like putting it back to Playboy, I love that. I love the association with the branding, and I just think it's done really well.
I love that Lil Nas X can do no wrong. I mean, and when he does wrong, he comes back and does something right to make you forget about the wrong, right? So like, I think a couple of weeks ago, he had posted something about saying that I transitioned or something like that. And it was a picture of himself, and he knew that it was in poor taste, right? So he apologized it, and then he's like, okay, I'm gonna come back with something else to like make you love me again, you know? And this is his way. Like, he's always like so very ambiguous and so very different, and just like you can't really place your finger on what he is.
Can I mess you up real quick? Like, why is this awesome, but Sam Smith comes out looking like this and it's an issue? Why are people's minds blown up and the feeds are all attacking him, but this is well received?
What are they attacking Sam Smith over?
That he's inappropriate, that it's
Is it because but do you think it's because of his weight?
Yeah.
I think it's because of his weight,
think-
and that is
It's
so
a weight
messed
thing.
up
Yeah.
that is.
But to your point though, I think it's body issue. But the same people will probably put him down. The same way we both said, you know, at this table, one image, the not Andre 3000 versus this image, we all have what we feel is sexy to us.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that those who speak louder are those who are hating on Sam Smith. Now again, I love him for being him. Am I a fan of Sam Smith? Absolutely not. Never was. However, I will salute him. I will march with him. I will even, you know, support him dressing like that. And I will even put on a corset and do all those things. But at the same time, he has a right to be who he is. You know? And so we got to realize that we have to scream louder than those naysayers. To your point earlier, you know, and until we do that and rally around our our folks who think like we do, who play like we do, and that's the only time they're going to feel empowered. And we have to because otherwise all you can hear is those naysayers.
Well, one big difference too is that Lil Nas X is cisgendered. He identifies as a boy, so this is kind of dress up, whereas Sam Smith
It's non-binary.
is non-binary, so he's a bigger threat if you're insecure.
I think our community is very freaking vain. We're vain AF, right? And if the roles were reversed and Lil Nas X had an unholy song and dressed like Sam did,
We would love it.
we would love it. We would be taking it all in,
would.
like, yes, Fashion Week, bitch, yes.
But remember when he dressed as the devil, like he got all that flack from the religious right, you know, and so all that. So I don't necessarily agree with that part as far as the way you identify, because he's pushed the envelope way and he's gotten a lot of flack from that piece. But it just goes back to whom is doing that shouting, and for what reason? Is it body imagery? Is it because you dress as the devil and the Catholic thing? Is that Catholicism that's making you shout? The moment that we realize those folks get back into that old age mindset and come with change.
Well, I'll tell you one comment I put under it, which ended up getting a lot of responses, was I said, if this was Cardi B, if this was Nicki Minaj, or so-and-so, y'all wouldn't have a problem with it.
Absolutely.
It's true.
And some black woman responded, they never did no shit like this before.
And that woman is right. All right, let's move on. RuPaul's Drag Race 15th season will be cherished forever for highlighting the trans community and a fabulous clap back to the rising tide of anti-drag and anti-LGBTQ plus legislation sweeping the U.S. In the season finale, RuPaul announced Sasha Colby. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Sorry for spoiling it. You should have watched it by now, all right? Former Miss Continental and trans goddess as America's next drag superstar. Miss Colby's acceptance speech that screamed trans rights won many hearts. She dedicated the award to every trans person in the past, present, and future. The message was clear. Quote, "We are not going anywhere," end quote. Question 4, with the Bacardi shot, I swallow that. I love that RuPaul's Drag Race finale got all political for LGBTQ plus rights.
Yeah.
Yes. If you were going to tune in and enjoy the jokes and the entertainment and all that, you cannot tune out when it's time to vote.
To get serious.
Because these contestants, they bring their stories out through the show, and it really does kind of bring you over to their side and warm up. But this was different because this was RuPaul doing it. This was the show doing it, where really one of the main focuses of the show was to donate to the ACLU and have that right up on the screen. I thought it was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So now we can talk about Anitra's performances and some other things like that later, but I just wanted to put that out there.
So,
Jinx, did you see Jinx? Oh my gosh, it was incredible.
Come on, Mama.
I can't wait to see her. She's coming to Coral Springs next month. I'm gonna watch. Get your tickets.
So remember, we claimed this. We all at this table last week said that we knew this was gonna happen. So what I loved about this is a lot of our trans siblings, when they perform, they get hated on because they're not the aesthetic of the guy. So when our trans siblings are performing often in drag at many different places, venues, they don't get booked because they don't want that.
Well, RuPaul initially didn't allow trans contestants,
that part.
right?
And so look at where we've come now. And so I have seen several of my siblings, and you all know the work that I do, and I have spoke up for our siblings that I won't go to a place if you don't book a trans woman, because it's not they deserve the right to make their money. They deserve the right to entertain. They deserve the right to show their art. And what Sasha has shown the world is that our siblings are just as amazing, qualified to perform, dazzling and amazing.
GODDESS.
And recognize their body is beautiful. Absolutely. Their bodies are beautiful. And they're just like everyone else. And so all of that performance, to me, shouted it from the mainstream. Like this awesome.
John, did you see it?
Oh.
Get off of this.
Y'all just spoiled it for me.
Were you rooting for anybody in particular, though?
Yeah. I mean, I am a...
You wanted mistress. You wanted Estiti. You wanted Estiti, but she's
So I'm a fan of the House of Colby. So super down. I definitely have like some sort of affinity with mistress, like. Her cunty, like dark mistressy shit is my vibe. But I just feel so proud, about Sasha. Like, you just can't go wrong. There's no better representation than Sasha Colby. So absolutely, I'm proud of it.
Package.
Exactly.
When RuPaul, right, herself says, you are a badass queen. You are what people want to see.
Yes.
I mean, and she said that often about Colby.
She did.
Colby was incredible. Our own South Florida queen, Malaysia, won Miss Congeniality. And I personally, and I love her, and I've interviewed her, and she's a lot of fun. I would have given that to Mistress. Like, I would have
just for the controversy of
it? Because, I mean, hey, you want to call her cunty, however you want to call her, but she's the only one that really, threw it at everybody.
She put on a show.
She threw it. She was everybody's friend and foe all at the same time. That's why
nobody really hates her. Nobody really hates her, and she ate everyone all season long. And that's what makes you a cool person, man. Because I know how to take it and I know how to give it. If
yes,
you're gonna
you
give
do.
It,
I've heard.
You know what I'm talking about? It ain't called verse for nothing, okay? But I feel like that says a lot about the character of a person. I feel like she's gonna be really successful beyond this show.
And unfortunately, this has become a political issue. So I'm really happy that they use the platform to be able to address it, because there's so many people that, from gay, straight, bi, whatever in between, that have been to a drag show. The middle America that loves Drag Race, that watches Drag Race, I'm sure they've gone to their local, city to be able to see a drag show. Everyone that goes to Lips and to Palace and, all these bachelorette parties, they've all gone to drag shows. And this is the time that we need their support to stand up for our drag queen entertainers, because they're under attack. Like, our Florida governor is literally attacking drag queens, and now they're in danger.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, and if you go to any of these events at our house at Lips, it is predominantly straight white people.
Right.
Okay, that are
you
there.
know?
It's,
so,
you know,
so it's good that they use this platform to address this issue because they may or may not know what's happening in the state of Florida. You know, so now it's, you know, it was shown around the world. You know, and people are aware that it's an issue now.
Well, I think with Sasha Colby, right? So as somebody who has been like, I mean, I'm always a fan of trans and queer and, you know, the entire community. I think for me, that I don't know if it happened to y'all, but there's something different about Sasha Colby. When she came on the screen, like all the other queens that have been trans in the past have had these like, okay, I'm trans. You know, like these kind of moments where they're coming to terms with themselves. And like it's a moment on the show about how they're, you know, they didn't know before and they weren't sure how anybody was going to be accepted. Sasha Colby came on as the most confident person. When she came on and after the first couple of challenges, I feel like everybody at home was like, there's no way that she doesn't deserve to win the show. And I feel like she has been, at least for me, the first trans person that was the most empowering, like, I got this, I am here. And I'm gonna win this.
She didn't even do a lip sync challenge.
Yeah, but
she didn't even do a lip sync challenge.
But there's a lot to that, right? Like she came with a name.
It took a long time.
And she had a daughter, which, by the way, where's my camera? We're having sex, okay? We're having a threesome because Carrie Colby lives for me and Chris, and I live for her so much. I promise you that if she watches this show, I love you, Mama. We come into LA and we're gonna have some fun.
Oh my God!
But
I want to film.
But Sasha, the thing about Sasha came with a name. She came with a daughter who told her everything she needed to know about coming into this show. So she came prepared, and she's won a ton of other events.
Continental, Miss
well, you know,
I mean, come on.
To your point, Jonathan, I think it's very important to say though again that we're back to the platform is that her journey, she had to go through a whole bunch of knocks, bumps, and bruises to get to where she is.
Yeah.
And this platform makes people realize that our trans siblings are beautiful because what I often laugh about, and I have this conversation with people often, when I see you go to Vegas, you like the showgirls? Yeah. I bet you at least 50% were trans women. And they get so amazed. And I'm like, so you, instead of hating on your neighbor who is that woman, recognize their beauty for who they are. And that was what this platform gave us. And so for her, I think for Sasha to be so empowering, it goes to that journey. Because Peppermint, you know, you listen to Peppermint's story, you listen to some of the others, once they realize, because again, if the moment you come on as a woman and try to get a booking, you may not get that booking because the mainstream doesn't want that aesthetic. But so those people had to fight who they were in order to get that job. Yeah. And so those moments that you saw where they're now coming to that realization are also powerful too, because sometimes it's hard. We often run from who we are. But the moment that you can embrace it is amazing. And Sasha, I bet you had that moment early on in life and say, you know what, I'm not gonna let nothing break me down. And what she gave us on TV was empowering, regardless of who you may look like and what you may look like, is that I can survive and I can beat the odds. And I can wear my titties on a freaking stage.
I think what it is for me is that,
empowering and I think kind. And so often we look at queens and their strength to come from bitchiness or cattiness,
or pushing others down.
And really, that is just kind of one way to do it. Did y'all see when she came out in this season in her boy drag for the music?
Yes.
I was floored
and
that was
great.
Eve.
And she was amazing.
Because every time I look at Sasha, I'm like, I can't even imagine as a boy. And then she came out with that. I was like, oh my goodness. She was. The vulnerability to do that too, to go through all that gender dysphoria, all that surgery, all that therapy, and then
to do that,
to be able to put that on,
couldn't be an easy thing. But she saw that crown and she wanted to make it happen, and she deserves it.
She said, "I'll take the boy part."
We love you. All right. Well, just like LGBTQ+ on Wilson Drive, we are taking a lot of shots. Let's take a momentary break and hear from our sponsor, Bacardi Rum. So this year marks the 50th anniversary of the American Psychiatric Association's removal of homosexuality from its diagnostic manual in 1973. The year led to an important shift in mental health practices as clinicians stopped asking questions like, what causes homosexuality? And how can we change it? And focus instead on the health and mental health needs of LGBTQ plus patient populations. Psychiatric diagnosing of homosexuality as a mental disorder began in the 19th century. Many psychiatrists, including Sigmund Freud, looked at homosexuality as psychological immaturity or illness. American psychiatry mostly ignored the growing body of sex research that saw homosexuality as normal. All this started changing in the wake of the 1969 Stonewall riots in New York City. Finally, in 1973, the American Psychiatric Association, the APA, the largest psychiatric organization in the world, made history by issuing a resolution stating that homosexuality was not a mental illness or a sickness.
Okay. Nothing centered around your penis since everybody always talking about
Penis?
This is not the right.
All right,
Like boys.
So are you giving me the video or am I just going to stand here and smile at the camera? All right, question number 5.
You look so beautiful when you smile.
Right,
You look
I smile,
so
right?
beautiful,
God,
right?
these teeth cost me a lot of money. Fantastic. All
Caliente,
right.
yes.
Question number 5 with a Bacardi shot. You wouldn't do this to Al.
That's not a question. That's more of a comment.
All right, question number 5 with a Bacardi shot. Wait, is it true that 50 years ago, queer was a mental illness?
It is true.
It is
Yeah.
true.
It's true, right?
It is
Yeah.
But I wanted to take a shot because I want to take a
Take the
shot.
shot. Take the
Well,
shot.
it was categorized as that. It was not really that. But what I love about what you've just shared in that story is that you had the 1969 Stonewall riots. This happened in 1973. And what happened in between, the pressure and activism on and the letters and
The protests.
and people call and the protests that happened every year until they reevaluated it, that these kind of big seismic societal changes do not come without protests, sometimes a riot to make it happen.
It's
That's what I
time.
think.
We need another one of those.
We got to be at every pride possible. There are celebrations, but there are also protests at the same time.
But can you imagine the people? Well, I can't imagine the people because they're the same people who think the crazy shit that they think about trans. Okay, I mean, it's like so people back then who literally thought that everybody at this table were mentally ill.
So-
You know, and some of us ended up in mental wards.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
So again, so to your point, 50 years is not that long.
It's
ago.
not.
And so those are the people who are now in state houses. A lot of them are in state houses and running government. First thing. The second thing was they said that it was caused by the nervous system or issue with the nervous system. I'm like, I'm the most calm. I got a fat booty in the bed. So how is that a nervous? And so I thought that was hilarious. But then they did that research in certain places where it was men-dominated spaces so prisons and other places where they did the research. Well, if it's only me and Jonathan in the cell together, of course we're going to bump uglies because, I mean, that's all we got to do all day. And so, so when you go through that research and you realize how they were setting all this up to make it look negative, they were doing a self-cause. They were doing it to defeat their cause. But I challenge everyone. There's a video on Xtube or one of Twitter of 1960 where Caucasian men are going into a bathroom and they were getting it on. Real natural, everyday people. And so it made me wonder if those general people were doing it, those are the people they should be having that conversation with about why is this the only place that you can go to feel safe to have sex? And because you're escaping your realism and talk to those people about why. And make this study, and maybe would not have waited until 1973 to make a change because it's always been. We've always felt comfortable.
Well, because
We're
nobody
never going
cared.
anywhere.
Because nobody cared. But okay, let's look around the table. Okay, there's professional people at the table. Okay, I know what each of you guys do, right? So, 50 years ago, right? If you said you were gay, they would think that you would have a mental illness and you wouldn't be able to be a teacher. You wouldn't be able to be a coach. You wouldn't be able to be a teacher. You wouldn't be able to be, everything that you've done.
Right.
You wouldn't be able to do. Okay, would you be out if you were
50
alive
years?
back then?
No.
No.
Wow. But not even a thought. Not even a, well, maybe
No.
I would want to be my true, authentic
But
self.
imagine throughout
I know. He's like, nope.
No.
But be out.
Imagine throughout history, right? The amount of take now the amount of LGBTQ plus people we have in our community. Go back 50 years, right, and equate that ratio to that, and you know that many amount of people weren't out at that time. So that could have included all these big business leaders and politicians. Who knows? We could have had presidents that were gay, and we would have never known because they lived their entire life
In the closet.
in the closets.
We
know?
had presidents,
Andrew Garfield.
and they only did it in the closing night, or they're only their concubines. So you're right. We can't say we haven't. We just don't know.
We don't know.
It's never been proven.
And we will never.
So
know.
when I saw this story, right, like I got very emotional. And that's because, as we all know, whenever the science decides to confirm something, it takes the rest of the public another 20 years to be able to to understand and digest what it is and become, the public opinion. So in the 90s, I remember questioning like whether I was gay or not and researching about these studies, right? And why the American Psychiatric Association before had said people like me might be defective. And I wasn't sure if I was gay or not. But I did a whole research study on myself, because all these, before that, what they were saying was that if you have an absent father or you don't have a father, role model in your life.
Yeah.
My father died when I was 12. So I was like, am I defective because of this? Did this make me this? Is my mom domineering on me, which she was? And I was like, man, do I fall into the stereotype? Is this really a defective situation? And that maybe political correctness told them not to do this. And so it took me a while for me to, even though I was confident in who I was and I wasn't depressed or anything, I had to try to figure out, is this really, am I defective and did something happen to me to make this?
And when you tell people you're a lesbian, were you raped as a child? Did something happen? Somebody touched you the wrong way, blah, blah. No, bitch, I just like pussy, right? So I understand what you're saying, Now, do you still feel that you're defective to some degree?
Not at all.
At all. Not even.
At all. I feel like it's my superpower. I'm all the things that I was praised for when I was younger about being creative, being an artistic, a musician, being intelligent. I even think, maybe this is not even politically correct to say, but I think gay people are smarter. I think queer people, we're creative,
We've been
we're
through
able
more.
to understand kind of a masculine and feminine thing at the same time. And I feel like, and when I remember telling my mom when she was struggling, after year one, I was like, all these things you were proud of me for, I'm like, this is my superpower.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I was straight, I'd be like your other son.
But that's why this lie works so good about gay being a mental illness, because when you're just starting to figure out, we all have those questions of, well, what's wrong with me? Where does this come from? So that's why the lie works, is because it reflects a truth that we all suspect.
Well, it goes further than that. They weaponized it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's how they were able to arrest people and put them in hospitals. And they were able to...
And put their names in the paper
if they were going to a gay paper and control the masses and control the voting. And then it became this bigger thing. And all of a sudden they were like, we don't want to take it off the books. And even though they weren't acting upon it, they just kept it there because it was like, why not? Mm-hmm. So we can't blame ourselves and we can't hate ourselves. We just have to remember those times, that's what it was.
So I actually appreciate you saying that, because I was going to remind us at the table is that those folks who kind of wrote these studies and kind of enacted those laws were cis married folk. And who, when you went against the grain, they did not want you in their communities,
in their group,
and their groups. And so what did they do? They enacted situations that would make sure that none of us. And so when you look at it, in my opinion, for my survival, looking at those studies, those people who wrote those books, who did those studies, who are white married, men. I'm never going to fit in. Nothing is ever going to fit for me.
Yeah.
Because during that time, you had to be married with 2.5 kids in a white picket fence. Well, how many of us grew up, I grew up in the projects. We all grew up in inner city. Yep. And so once you realize those studies were not meant for you, I cannot govern myself by those studies, and I'm better than that. Then I think that's when the light bulb changes. And that's what's so awesome about this show here, is that we can now give our young folks who are following us to realize these studies back then were never meant for us.
Yeah.
They were only meant for certain people, and then to weaponize. Weaponize who we are, because they fit their normative and not ours.
Very true. So folks out there, if you're gay, you're smarter than everybody else.
Yes. That's what you took.
All right. That's all I took from it, because we said so. All right. And there is nothing wrong with you.
Do y'all realize we're giving Trini a lot of props today? Wow. It's not Bacardi.
It's not Bacardi. That Bacardi
no, say it right.
Bacardi.
Close up camera, close up.
So next, the size of the former Saturday Night Live star's manhood has been the subject of rumors for years, with many of the comedian's exes and friends feeling the need to rave about his impressive endowment. You know what we're talking about, right? You know what we're talking about. What's his name? Davidson. Pete Davidson. Mm-hmm. Ariana Grande seemingly ignited the buzz after jokingly tweeting that he was like 10 inches during their brief engagement in 2018. However, Davidson has finally put to bed all the whispers and innuendos. During an appearance on The Breakfast Club, host Charlamagne and God brought up all the hoopla about his alleged massiveness. Davidson answered him saying, quote, "I don't understand. It's really not that special. It's a very normal sized penis," end quote. So now that's settled. We can get over Davidson completely, right?
Okay. Nothing centered around your penis since everybody always talking about your penis.
I don't understand. It's really not that special. It's a very normal size penis. It's like, not too big or too small. It's just like, I don't understand that.
It's like baby bear forage.
Yeah, it's just like big enough to enjoy and not big enough for it to hurt.
Okay.
Is what I was told.
Question 6 of the Bacardi shot. I'd swallow that. Does Pete Davidson get all those girls because he's so Big D Davidson?
He would have to because he's ugly.
What? No.
Yes.
I agree. I totally agree.
He's not an attractive guy.
Nah, he looks like he hasn't showered since
he hasn't bathed?
2020. Okay, I'm sorry. Since COVID, he hasn't showered.
I think y'all are missing the angle of this. This is Ariana Grande throwing some shade because by putting that number out there that he's all big, he's going to disappoint every other woman that he is with, who is expecting some 10-inch D energy. I think she was
about weaponizing.
Right?
Weaponizing the dick.
But he clearly said, it's not this, it's not. I mean, how many of us at this table use that as a pickup line? Guess what? It's not this, it's not that, it's good, it's going to make you feel good.
That's me. That's what I say. And I don't got no 10 inches.
All day.
I ain't got no 10 inches.
But I was laughing. So looking at the study, they said that 6 inches is the norm. So I'm not sure who are they measuring? Because if 6 inches is the norm, then...
Yeah, but he's also like 6'4", so like if it looks big on him,
and
if
skinny also.
They say that about like the tall, skinny guys. That they're like, right?
Mm-hmm.
That they're hung that way.
I don't think that's why he gets the girls though.
At all.
Kardashian, right? He was with Kardashian with what's
He's
her name?
definitely got a big,
with Kim, right?
big D energy, but I also feel like it's the zero fuck attitude that gets girls. I mean, I haven't gotten a girl in a long time, but. Like when you just don't give a fuck and you look and you slouch and you just like humble this way, I think you attract a lot of people.
When you walk into the orgy and there's 5 guys and they're hot and one looks like Pete Davidson, you know why he's there.
Yeah,
like you know what he's bringing to the party.
I don't think so. I think that Pete Davidson, I think he has that just weirdo white guy kind of vibe, which I think is attractive. And the whole kind of big dick thing, I don't know how you all are at the table, but I think. I love his answer too, which was really humble, which is like, it's not that big.
What's he gonna say? It's huge? I mean, he's not gonna say that. He's gotta be humble.
Dick 101. No, that's Dick 101.
He's setting expectations.
Exactly.
The moment you sit down, they say the first thing you write is, you always say it's not this, it's not that, but what it's going to do is make you feel good.
But what would
you expectations?
What is the size that you guys would find the perfect size?
The study says 6. The study.
That says what average is. What is the size you prefer?
I don't prefer, but what I have is what you need.
Well, I know you. Does anybody
Oh my God!
Because I feel like big dicks are so like 10-inch and 10 plus. Like who wants that? Do you want that? I mean you're lesbian. When you were. I had a momentary laugh.
No.
She was a lesbian.
Okay. Listen, there were 4 months in 2008, okay, that I was straight, right? And so I dated this football player from the Rams. I'm not gonna say who he was or whatever. But let's just say that when things got to where they needed to be, I was like, you're not putting that shit nowhere near me. That thing was huge and long, and I was like, "Oh hell no, that's not breaking me!"
And the bigger ones,
and that has to happen more often. Come on, it can't just.
100%. No, 100%.
And a booty hole is way tighter. That must be terrible.
But it's about how you work it, though. Pause. I mean, there's some little people who can work some things. There's some big people.
There are, yeah.
So it's all about how and which you.
Yeah, but they say the woman's cavity is only 6 inches deep.
It doesn't have that other hole.
If you got 10,
we all have walls.
Second hole.
That second hole.
She's feeling it in her throat. It's not fun. You know what I mean?
So again, being that guy who lived in the closet, when you talk about banging the walls, if it becomes uncomfortable for you, then you gotta pull out. You gotta watch how you do your stroke. But at the end of the day, I'm sorry.
You're a wall breaker. You're a wall breaker?
Does anybody else agree with me that Elimination should do like a tell-all, like a how-to video?
Yes,
right?
I've shared
a whole podcast.
A whole thing.
A masterclass.
I've shared with you guys with my addiction, so I've done some crazy things in my life.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it's about, again, how do you use it and how do you recognize your pleasure? Because if all you're doing is hitting your wall or hitting that spot that's uncomfortable, it's never going to be good.
Then it's not fun.
And so to your point, long, short, it's all in which the connection, how you do it at the end of the day. But what I laughed, and maybe I'm the only one who missed at this table, since when did Kim K start liking folks that look like him?
I don't know. I know.
Am I the only one that was
No,
watching?
and again, and that's why you think,
that.
and that's why you think, that's why I agree that I think that he's got the big thing.
Yeah, but hold on.
because
But
of
hold
that.
on. What we're missing here is since when did Pete Davidson ever hold down a bitch? Like he hasn't held down a relationship.
That Bacardi.
They all leave him.
That part, they all leave
They
him.
all leave him.
That's true too.
Okay, because again, he smells. The penis can only make you happy for so long. Then the smell. And there's a smell with the balls. I remember that when I dated men too. Like, you know, there's a certain kind of smell down there that's not all that great. And, you know, it's like,
And then the other thing I think that folks are getting confusing is that she said she's in her 40s, so it's the best sex. So maybe it's the best sex for her because she's a little bit more limber. Maybe she's now learning how to enjoy her body. Maybe she's now doing the tricks that she didn't do before. So maybe it's not nothing about him. He just happened to be that
Yeah,
cool
but there is that
she's
one rumor now of her ex like slanging some real D and like going in ham in parties in the bathroom.
Ariana?
No, Kim K's ex.
which one?
Who the rapper Kanye.
Oh, Kanye.
Who apparently fucks like a rabbit, like hardcore, and goes ham. So she's experienced some D before.
We know her for her works. I mean, how many of us never saw the video?
I mean, hello, Ray J.
I mean,
I never saw
You
it.
did the D.
I never
Oh
saw
my
it.
God, I gotta show it to you.
You gotta
after
watch
the
it.
show,
You
all
gotta
right?
watch it.
She was a hummer, a singer, like she did it all.
All right, let's move on. Anyway, I swallow that. Next up is a segment we call our best thing of the week. The account named Republicans on Instagram gained tens of thousands of followers within the first 24 hours after artificial intelligence created images of Republican politicos were posted. Using an AI platform, the creators have rendered high-resolution, over-the-top images of some of the most craziest opponents of the LGBTQ plus people's rights as drag queens. The account, which is owned by a gay couple, has shown Justice Clarence Thomas as Loretta Corrupta. I love that.
The name.
I love that.
The
The name is
names.
everything and the caption is everything. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis as Rhonda Shanty.
That's all her.
That's not her.
That's not her.
Ron DeSantis.
No.
That was the
Lindsey
previous
Graham.
There's Lindsey Graham, which is my
Senator
favorite.
Lindsey Graham as Lady Graham Cracker.
Yeah, but that looks like just mad for no reason.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Mike Pence as Mother Pence.
Yes.
Mother has arrived.
Mother has arrived.
And more.
Wait.
This is a must-watch social media account if you wish to have a good laugh. Best thing of the week, RuPaul announces new show called Republicans, all right?
Isn't it?
It's not a real show.
Isn't it
But,
just
all right.
absolutely ironic and delicious that Ron DeSantis looks like he could walk in a Disney parade?
Well, I love the fact that he's in a
Oh my
library.
God.
yes,
Because of the book banning
Oh
books.
my
I think
God.
that's
that's his motto. It's a
Yeah.
the Shanty book banning princess.
Book banning
or something.
princess.
Book banner,
yeah.
No, the captions are hysterical.
No, these are brilliant.
Giuliani, I think they did Giuliani also.
Yeah,
That
He's up
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
That's the leper one, right?
Yeah, he's the leper.
That's Giuliani,
But
yeah.
they didn't use the drips down the side of his
Oh,
head.
no, they
Oh, my
should
God.
Oh, no, actually they did, and it just went into the
went to
contour.
the- yeah,
It just went into the
For me, Lindsey Graham feels so real.
And so comfortable, right?
So
Like,
comfortable.
comfortable in that, right?
As her authentic
I
self.
want to say the same thing, Cal. I think we meet them at like 12 o'clock at night. That's what they look like right here, like just living their best life.
What do
Yeah.
you think that they think about?
You
these
know, okay,
pictures? Like,
so-
do you think that their heads are like just like completely combusting from seeing themselves in drag?
I mean,
So
they're
even though I see like all of this, I always have a bad feeling when I see people being made fun of in social media, and I know they're horrible people. They're horrible people. But even when Trump, when he says, "I'm not gonna I would never have had sex with that woman. She's not, pretty enough," and then they start making fun of Trump's weight, and they make fun of Trump, whatever he looks
ahead.
like.
I don't.
I don't know. There's
You
something
think they're gonna
about it.
retaliate or some shit?
I feel like it then causes more of a shitstorm, and then like the
infuriates them
politics
more.
This ain't Disney. Like I think they laugh. I think they're probably gonna like make.
You think they're laughing?
Yeah, for sure. Like if I see some shit like this about me, I'm gonna laugh. Like you can't. There's no way that this just looks so
But do
real,
you think
man.
these fools have a sense of humor? Like,
Yeah.
no, I don't.
I
think
don't
they
think
do,
at
Puppy.
all.
I just don't.
I think they do. I think they do. I think the persona that we see on TV and the assholes that they make themselves isn't their real self. And I'll tell you one example. Many years ago at a company that I worked with, I actually worked very closely with Mike Pence.
Okay.
And at the time, he was the governor of the state of Indiana.
How close did you work with Mike Pence?
Very close. Very close.
That skirt
was
in the
under-
figure.
Yeah, it'll
smell like?
read my book.
Wow.
You know, and he was so nice. And so he's like that uncle that always had jokes. You know, he was very personable. You know, I've had dinner at his house, you know, and so I really feel like this persona that they put on in front of the camera and when they're on Capitol Hill is not the same person that they are in person. And I think they probably would get a crack out of this, but it's not something they'd admit to it.
So I don't agree with that. And I think people often put on airs because they have to. So the side that you saw might have been him working with men, showing you his work life.
His work self.
His work self. And so in getting along in that part of his journey. I don't think it will ever get to that point where they see it. And if they do see it, I think they're like, aha, these fools are now making fun of me because look what I did to them. I've got under their skin. And so they would laugh it off and keep weaponizing who we are and make things worse.
That's why they want to ban TikTok. That's
it.
Because of this stuff.
So I don't think it really matters. I think all it does is give them ammunition like, aha, I got you. Because the moment that you now do something like them, they realize they won. They're like, oh yeah, they're making fun of me. So
like one of their. What do we even care? Like what comes out of this? Should we have done this or should we not? Or do we care about the reaction?
No,
I don't care.
No, I don't give a crap.
I care a little bit.
Do you? So we shouldn't have done this.
It's just like, you know, I just feel like whenever there's that counter reaction, like I'm all trying to get two different points of view to kind of agree with each other. And I feel like sometimes this stuff feels...
No, they deserve this. They deserve this. 100%.
To what they're doing to our community. There is no.
And that's the thing. Like we have to stop playing nice.
Michelle Obama.
But we can't play nice. That's the thing. They are out to kill us. Every single one of us. They want us dead. So an AI generated image. I hope they see this.
But there's so much stuff that you could actually come out of things that they said, their own hypocrisy. Like I'd rather those things come out than like.
Then you do that. We'll enjoy these.
But that's me. I respect you all for loving it.
And I hope more comes out of this too.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. All right, folks. So each week it's happening out. We're moving on, as you noticed. Each week it's happening out. We ask our hosts about what is important to them. All right. But the twist is that you have to say it in just 30 seconds, or you'll hear that stupid bell that I freaking hate that I refuse to. Just touch it, Cal.
I did it softly.
You touched it so gaily. He was like,
I did it for you.
Was that the first knob that you touched this week? Was that the first knob that she was able to touch this week?
It doesn't work. That's right. That's why it doesn't work.
It's only Wednesday.
Right. It is only Wednesday. This segment is called What's on Your Mind and sponsored by Jet's Pizza.
Oh, Jet's Pizza.
Wow.
Yes. Right here.
First of all, you sit in my seats.
and then you don't show the
You don't show the pizza.
Jet's Pizza. Jet's is the. Can you let them see? Oh my God. Jet's. I hope
it falls out of the box.
Jet's, it's amazing.
It does not attack you if you really order it.
Right. Jet's is the LGBTQ plus pizza of choice for South Florida. What's on our mind is a deep dish Detroit style pizza, or perhaps the cauliflower thin crust that Trini had all up in his mouth. Jet's Pizza has been with It's Happening Out for 4 years, and they captured our attention for the 4th season with their campaign called Bigger is Better. And of course, they're talking about their slices. What do you think they'll be talking about? Jet's supports a huge variety of LGBTQ plus events and nonprofits with more than 400 locations nationwide and 35 in Florida. They are considered one of the best franchise opportunities in America. And the South Florida and LGBTQ plus community love their pizza. And this is why Jet's Pizza is our sponsor of What's on My Mind.
Oh my God, so good. I love it.
You're in pole position. You go.
That was my lunch for tomorrow, and now you can have it. Okay? Because you touched it. All right. With that, what's on your mind, Trini? Since your mouth is full.
Right. You're in pole position.
Yes, tell us.
What's on your mind?
Look, normally something is always on my mind, but I have been working so much this past couple weeks, so I'm gonna plug the Miami City Ballet. We are doing. I'm sorry if there's stuff in my teeth and I look gross, but.
You're like Tommy Davidson.
Well, the second
this weekend at the Kravis Center in West Palm Beach, the West Side Story Miami City Ballet. It is amazing. It is so much fun. It is such a celebration of Latin culture, and with the score from Leonard Bernstein, the most amazing composer of the late 20th century. So come out and see it. And not this weekend, but the following weekend. Broward Center for the Performing Arts. Come out and see it. You're going to have a great time.
So who are you in the play, Maria?
I am a violinist. I am not dancing up there. I don't have the belt. I don't have all
He's in the orchestra.
Stuff.
He's in the orchestra.
Yes, please don't
in the pit.
I mean,
He's in the orchestra pit.
In the pit. All right. Thank you for what's on your mind. Elimination. What's on your mind,
So
Bobby?
what's on my mind is, I know we talked about Lesbian Awareness Week, but I just want to make sure that all of my brothers or my male-identified folks to make sure that they find a woman or a woman-identified person in their life, because let's be real, Faye should have saved my life last week. Faye was real. She was like, yo, don't come to the show. You're going to get flooded. And I did not listen. And so I want to be very clear. We brothers, gentlemen, we need to realize that our woman-identified folks will always make sure and tell us the real shit. So what's on my mind is saying, Faye, thank you for trying to save me from Floodmageddon, but I got stuck. I got stuck. Yeah, don't listen to production. Don't listen to that white guy who said, it's going to be okay. Get here. You're going to be fine. Take this route. And then 45 minutes into your route, talk about, oh, I lied. Here's a video of a canoe, but you're going to be all right. And then when you get here, talk about, you didn't see my video? Brother, I was driving. What are you talking about? So what I say, again, what's on my mind is thanking the women in my life, because had it not been for those who keep us grounded, and Faye, we got to spend almost a night together.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Right.
But then you left me for that here and a whole night with Al Ferguson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on, but thank
All
you.
right. So folks at home, just to reiterate, okay, so there was a really crazy flood here in South Florida, all right? It was a 1 in 1,000-year flood. Look it up. It literally closed down the airport. And last Wednesday, we were here doing It's Happening Out, and the cast of It's Happening Out got stuck here because there was 2 feet of water that ran, that literally fell in about an hour and a half's time, which is just unprecedented. And it came about midnight, and everybody was sleeping on FayWhat's bed, and I was like, you know what? Aside from Elimination,
Faye was like,
I want to get the hell out of here.
Faye was like, I'm out. Peace.
Of my lesbian truck, I'm out of here. I got out of here.
And Faye was the only one with the truck, like the big tires and all. And so I tell people the story after the week we had. I'm like, every situation in my life, a woman has always tried to save me. And every time I don't listen to a woman, I get fucked.
So that day, I was telling Elimination, I'm like, Elimination, Papi, don't come, okay? If you can't make it here, don't listen to any of these folks, all right? Do not come. And he still came, and he got stuck here, but I love you, and I will continue to do whatever I need to do to protect you in any which way.
And I love you.
Thank you. Mr. Mark Pettitt.
Pride is on my mind. We went through like heat stroke at Miami Pride, but next weekend coming up is Treasure Coast Pride Alliance, so tcalliance.com, and there will be indoor areas of Pride. Treasure Coast is a much, much smaller gay community. It's like, Trini, it's like the Homestead of the North.
Okay.
So
I'm there.
If you're
Is that like by Tampa? Like where is that? Like where?
Yeah, it's like maybe an hour and a half or hour 45 just north of us on the same coast, like Port St. Lucie, St. Pierce up in there. So I think it's really important to come out, especially if you are from a neighboring bigger city, and support those smaller city prides. So come join us Saturday, April 22nd. Luke and I will be there, and we'll have a little booth and everything in the air conditioning, if I can repeat that for all people who are in Miami last weekend. Come and see us.
Wow.
It's indoors?
Part of it's indoor, the exhibitor space.
Right?
And stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, Jonathan Casanas.
Well, I mean, I never have anything prepared, but I did also experience Miami Beach Pride. And one thing I did experience, and you guys know I host a lot of parties, I do a lot of events here in the United States. And one thing I experienced that I think we need a lot more of are like queer safe spaces and parties where it's really diverse. Every party that I do is very bear centric. So I'm not used to seeing parties with women, with straight people. And I had such a good time that I'm going to really honestly do everything in my might to bring it here to South Florida. Shout out to DJ Severino from Horse Meat Disco and DJ Phil from at Dancing Phil, who created a space, honestly, that had voguing, it had bingo, it had straight people dancing, it had bears, it had it all. We do not have enough of that here. We segregate ourselves more and more every year. And I'm going to do everything in my power, honestly, to create a party like that here in South Florida.
I love that. Invite us. I want to go.
100%.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, me
right?
too.
And we
And
need
put us
more of
all,
that.
we do. We need that, and then put us on a flyer so folks know that it's safe to come. I think that's the key point right there. So kudos to you, John.
Yeah.
I'm
All right.
there.
Kudos to them.
I'm there too.
at
I
party.
love that.
Inspired.
What a great idea. And especially now with so much crap being thrown at us. This
I'm
is when
there.
we need spaces like that. And that's how we get our allies to stand up for us, okay? We show them that we're not having parties grooming anybody. We're just having a good time being us.
Yeah,
you know?
honestly, it was
Thank
really,
you.
really nice to see.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And mi papi chulo, Mr. Cal.
So what was on my mind also is Miami Beach Pride. And for me, and everyone knows, my favorite part of Pride is the parade. if I don't make the parade, I just don't go, because to me, that's the most important part. And this year, all my friends bailed on me. Everyone went out on Saturday. I made sure that I went to bed early enough Saturday night to get up early enough to go down to Miami Beach to see the parade. I was the only one that made it. So I watched the parade by myself. But it was amazing because I saw so many of my friends in the parade. And I think that is so spectacular. A lot of our castmates, everyone supporting their organizations and everyone that walked for their organization. It's such a cool spectacle to see, and cheering everyone on and taking photos of all of them. And it makes me really proud to be a part of the community, and not necessarily, I've never walked in a parade before, but I've always just loved being, on the sidelines and watching the parade, and I think it's amazing.
This year, I'm gonna put you in some leather shorts, and you're marching with me this year. No more pride. Done. Y'all all.
That's my favorite too. I love the parade.
Yeah,
you
the most beautiful.
I'm just gonna remind you that I invited your ass to walk with me.
You did. You
okay?
invited all of us.
I invited everybody to walk with me, and Mark and Luke walked.
And I would have had heat stroke.
And you would have had.
Well, we tried to ride the bus. That's
I don't walk. So.
No, I don't walk.
Oh, I love the walk. That's amazing.
I don't walk.
I don't walk. I watch.
But I walk for that reason.
I don't walk. I strut.
With my fan. I had my fan.
I don't walk. I strut.
But it is amazing when you see your friends that you can kind of.
It is really cool.
And get that energized while you walk. So,
yeah.
But no, you walk with me this year. I'm gonna put you in some leather shorts.
But, Cal,
I don't know. Unless Pride starts happening in November and December, I'm not walking
in Stonewall, the parade is not till 7 p.m. That's a good amount of time that we don't get heat stroke. All right? All right.
It is just as cool to walk in the parade and see your friends on the sideline.
Can we walk? Is this happening out?
I would love to. I would love to.
All right, we have to work on that.
We'll work on that. Yeah.
It's happening out in leather.
Oh, wow.
And also on our mind is the great Jets Pizza.
That's really nice.
No, you're done.
Take a look around these streets. Do you really think we woke up one day and said, yeah, the world needs more pizza? Nah, just a better one. Better, like the world's best pizza, Jet's Detroit-style pizza. Hand-pressed and baked to the thickest, crispiest crunch. You're welcome. Now visit jetspizza.com and save. Click on hot deals for special offers in your area. Jets, better because it has to be.
Ay, que rico. Thank you, Jets Pizza. Love you. So our Hotspots magazine is celebrating 38 years. It has been documenting the LGBTQ plus lifestyle and is the spirit of our Hotspots Queer Entertainment this week, sponsored by the Broward Center for the Performing Arts. In the LGBTQ plus community, we always make jokes about size matters. Well, when it comes to Broward Center, size does matter. The Broward Center for the Performing Arts is the destination of choice for LGBTQ plus South Florida for spectacular entertainment in a large variety of performance venues. Broward Center ranks among the top 10 most visited theaters in the world, presenting more than 700 performances a year to more than 700,000 patrons. Broward Center is the home for LGBTQ plus entertainers, shows, Broadway, national drag performances, LGBTQ plus choral events, and so much more. And Broward Center supports one of the world's largest gay communities of Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, and all of South Florida. They support the LGBTQ plus community and are nonprofits unlike any theater in South Florida. We're excited to tell you in upcoming shows the rich 2023 Q1 season that the Broward Center for the Performing Arts will bring to our LGBTQ plus community. Margaret Cho's coming. You know that surveys show that the LGBTQ plus community participates in live theater performances 2.5 times more often than our straight counterparts. You knew that. Everybody at this table knew that.
Yep.
And that's why they are the sponsor of Hotspots Queer Entertainment this week. HBO Max officially announced a reboot of its iconic Harry Potter series. HBO's Twitter post included a brief teaser trailer for the new television series, but the video didn't give much insight into what it may hold aside from the nostalgia for the original Harry Potter movie series. J.K. Rowling, author and creator of the original Harry Potter novels, will have a hand in the new series. The announcement is getting a mixed reaction from the fans, particularly on Rowling's involvement against the backdrop of her transphobia. In 2020, Rowling began making anti-transgender remarks publicly, which led many fans to cancel and denounce her. Our Hotspots Queer Entertainment headline of the week, 10 years of new Harry Potter HBO show announced with J.K. Rowling as executive producer. What do you think?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think that, it's been, 10 years since the movies came out. So, I mean, this is all for an entirely new generation of, wizards, that are coming up. And also people who grew up reading the book, watching the movies, who have been to Universal and experienced the wizarding world of Harry Potter. So I think this just brings it to another dimension, and hopefully they can, because I think it's supposed to be every season is one book.
Okay.
So that's a lot of opportunity for them to dive deeper into the stories and elaborate on things that were not explained before in the book or in the movie.
Harry Potter fans
I'm
around the table?
done. I'm done. I'm not doing anything that she is involved in that makes her money, that allows her to fund the presence of her opinion.
The turf world of hers.
And there has been like 8 freaking movies already. I'm done on multiple levels.
But you're a nerd, were you? Were you really were you into Potter? Like,
I went to Universal. I sat down and
that was the best part about Harry Potter was a Universal.
And I think before she started doing all this, I binged like all 7 or 8 movies together. So
there's 8 movies.
There's 8, but no more.
I'm so sorry. You know what? That's white people shit. I have never been into Harry Potter. Sorry, Cal. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Wow.
So
I'm so sorry.
You and I here.
Okay, Elimination, please, school the folks. Come on.
First off, I've never read a book. I never watched any of the movies. Hogwarts, all that crazy. But all that stuff pop up on my social media. I'm like, put that away. What is this? There are so much more great old shows that we could bring back for the new generation that were so inclusive. I've said it before. I want to see a Xena reboot. I want to see a Buffy reboot.
Buffy!
I want to see so much more stuff. But again, I was never Harry Potter. What? Like I never gave that money. And beyond all the political stuff about it, it just never interested me. And I do agree with you. It was some white folks shit. But I mean, I do know that there's some brown folks who got into it.
Yeah, of course.
There's the weird thing about it. Like I am obsessed. I'm a fanatic. I didn't read all the books. I read like 4 of them. I wasn't in the generation of reading it in school. Some of my younger friends were, but I watched
all the movies.
All the movies.
Okay.
I became obsessed. I literally
dress up like one of them for Halloween.
No, but I would get stoned and watch every night. I would fall asleep.
That's where I made a mistake. I didn't drink enough.
Yeah, I would fall asleep to a movie. But it went further than that. They go further into the franchise, and now they have Hogwarts the game. And Chris is obsessed. And in the game, you're my fiance. There are non-binary folks in this game now. So it confuses me because I'm like, J.K. Rowling, are we phobic? Are we not?
Oh, she is.
In the game, they refer you to as they if you'd like. If you don't,
but she has nothing to do with the game.
That's what I don't know. That's what I don't know.
She has nothing to do with the game. I'm telling you, she has nothing to do with the game, but she still gets money off any of the money that's made from these things.
I want you to hear what he said. I had to be stoned and I fell asleep. So how good is any of these movies that he talked about?
It was so good.
That he just tried to push on me. He had to be stoned and he fell asleep.
But let me tell you why, though. Let me tell you why. Because it hits the younger generation, my generation, and the older generation. Because those were reading the book.
He just called me old.
I'm like, you said 50 years ago was not that long ago. Earlier.
But also the thing is, I mean,
it's not that long. I was 50, but bitch.
And for me, like I separate J.K. Rowling, entirely, from this entire. But why not?
I know.
Because gays are out there buying Teslas. Because gays are out there buying Chick-fil-A, and it's the same thing. So but I understand that. But that's the same thing that still happens. But I'm not gonna abandon the whole Harry Potter franchise because of her viewpoints.
So then don't abandon it. And she's an awful person, and you keep putting money in her pocket.
Okay.
You do that.
Give a very unpopular opinion, and I'm sorry.
Really?
What's new? Come on.
They should just put that on a shirt.
I don't feel like J.K. Rowling is anti-trans, and I will tell you why. Let me just hear me.
She didn't say it.
I mean, listen. Everything but say it, John. Everything but say it. Okay.
What she meant was. Go ahead. What she meant was.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait. Please tell us how she's misunderstood.
I went through her tweets because I am not a Harry Potter fan. I watched Harry Potter for the first time like 2 years ago because I was playing a concert where I had to play like the orchestra while the movie was playing.
I went to that.
So I did that. Okay. Well, you're welcome.
No. You're welcome.
So I hear all this stuff about J.K. Rowling, right? So I read all of, most of her tweets and everything, and I see a lot of what she was saying was just kind of like when you're being attacked, how you react back to that. And so I'm seeing, okay, so what does she actually believe about trans people? And she's basically saying that women, biological women, have their own space in addition to trans women being like, trans women should be able to be whatever they want to be, but there is
Just
a
not
different
women.
lived.
Okay.
Wait, but there is a different lived experience.
Coming from a woman, you could talk about this.
No,
Go
but
for
a
it.
different lived experience.
As the only woman at the table.
but I understand what you're saying.
Between a trans
I'm a woman.
woman and a biological woman. And I think that a trans woman has so much more in common in many ways with a gay person. As far as, and I'll tell you
Okay,
why.
so
Let me just tell you why first.
Can I have somebody's drink? I'm a relapse right here on TV.
As far as
8 years down the toilet after Trini, like,
Man,
sits next to me.
many people who are trans first identify as gay, and we're talking about people 20 years ago or something like that, that they think that they're gay. They are in a sex where people are making fun of them for being too effeminate, and we're talking about trans women, not trans men. Trans women that are being, they're too effeminate. They have a certain messaging with them. When it comes to biological women, they had a different messaging with them too about what it is supposed to be, like what a woman is supposed to be. And I feel like there is a difference in upbringing and a difference in trauma as well. And if we can acknowledge that there are 90 genders and counting, like why can't we at least acknowledge that there is a difference in
Okay.
So
And here's
let me land this plane.
Okay, please.
Let me land this plane.
Land his plane.
What you're getting at is that she said women have already had their struggle, right? Women have already gone through so many things, so many events, where now trans women are trying to attach themselves to the same problems that women are having. She says we've had our own problems. We don't need you in our sports. We don't need you attaching yourselves to our struggle that we fought for when you just got here.
Okay.
Why couldn't
Fight
you
your
say
own
that?
battles.
No, okay, and there is a whole crew of gay men that also feel that we should drop the T from our acronym because we'll get farther without the T.
Which
all
is
right?
not TriniDaddy.
Now, as a woman, and the only woman at the table, okay, I say women, period. If you identify as a woman, you're a woman, and that's it, and we're a part of the same group.
So may I?
Please.
So what I heard you say. And so I have a little clout over that, so I can say may I. I can't call who I call puta. But so what you said was our siblings identify as gay first. Untrue.
No, I didn't say that.
You did.
I said that many of them did.
So untrue. Because you cannot speak, you cannot even put that in a situation when you don't, and you haven't gone out and talked to. I know several trans women who will tell you, point out the blank. I am a woman and only date men, and I am a straight woman, period, point blank. And so the moment that we start categorizing or putting limits on how they identify as women, it's the same way folks put limits on us on how we can identify as gay, being pansexual, bisexual, whatever. And so to all I'm saying to you is this: the problem becomes when you start putting those hardcore caveats on how you identify and why they can't be women, period, point blank. Is where and you just said that.
That is not what I said.
But he said J.K. Rowling was trying to say that.
Okay.
Yeah, J.K. Rowling was trying to say.
What I'm telling you is that's where she went wrong, period. If you didn't say it, that's where she went wrong. Because at the end of the day, if you're gay, period. Not whether or not you only suck dick on Tuesday, but as long as you identify as gay, then you're gay.
But do you not ever see J.K. Rowling's point at all in terms of saying, we went through our struggles.
I get
You're
it.
invading our
and
space.
as a woman, I get the point, but it's not a human thing to say. All right? It is very wrong. Okay? Yes, she could feel that way. And you know what? Yes, we live in the U.S. and you can have your opinion, even if your opinion is fucked up. Okay? Because it is. It's just not right.
But simplify.
Okay?
Are
So
you
she's
helping?
she's not.
Does the opinion help or hurt? Does it something that comes from love, or is it something that comes from trying to hold on to what's mine? I don't need to know every kind of dynamic of the journey to just have a gut reaction to those opinions. No, they're not helping, so I'm not helping her.
Yeah.
But that's like being a roach and advertising for Raid.
Fair enough.
And that's why I don't do you think, all right, so in this generation, we want labels for everything, right? We want 80-something plus genders, right? And then the fact that we can't acknowledge that there are biological differences between biological women and trans women, it is not to say that we can't allow trans women into spaces and be whatever they want to be and support them. But is it transphobic to say that there are differences?
Yes, because you're saying, no, we're not going to allow you in. We're women, and we're not going to let you in because you were not born a woman, so you're not a woman.
Let you in
okay?
What?
My vagina does not make me a woman. My spirit and my soul makes me a woman.
But don't you think that your vagina and all the issues. I mean, I don't know about you personally, but I know a lot of females that have issues with vaginas when we were in middle school, and the experiences and certain traumas that happened because of that, and because of having that organ and all those hormones as well that biological males don't experience.
So,
I don't think that it is transphobic to say that biological women have a different experience, a lived experience.
Of course they have a
right, and that's
of course
what,
they have a different experience.
And that's all I feel that she
and that's
says.
not, but it's not all she's saying. That's the thing, and she's got a certain platform that she can use to help or not say shit. Okay,
I agree
and that's
that. I agree
you know,
that she doesn't help.
And so I equated to this because I can only speak from my lived experience. So as a gay man or a person who can be gay, I definitely am very pansexual, but as a gay man, there's situations where I can go to a gay space because the way I look may not be welcomed and loved because I don't meet a certain criteria. Am I not gay? Do my experience not matter? Am I still not welcomed in that space?
Absolutely
not. Okay, that's what they.
That's not what I'm saying.
No. But what we're trying to get you to realize is that yes, everybody at this table has very different lived experiences. We all recognize that. But at the end of the day, it's those things that bring us together. And what Faye is trying to say is those people identify as women. So because they identify, live as, experience life as women, we should not say you cannot be all that woman that you want to be because of your body parts. Because that's not fair to them and their experiences.
Which is not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that
it's a different experience. Okay, Ja, I'm tired of you, Trini. I'm moving on. Ja, you made your point, and I'm really tired of you.
It's not transphobic.
All right.
It's not transphobic.
Okay, I think you're transphobic at this point. Right? Yes, transphobic Trini. I'm going to post it everywhere, all right? So you know I'm going to post it everywhere.
I need some Bacardi.
Sheesh. And speaking of hot, drink some more.
Yes.
And speaking of hotspots, queer entertainment, here's a quick glimpse of the venues that are part of the Broward Center. I love you, Broward Center. Sorry.
The Broward Center for the Performing Arts, Parker Playhouse, Aventura Arts and Cultural Center, Rose and Alfred Miniachi Performing Arts Center. 4 venues that together bring a wealth of excitement to our community through the performing arts. The Broward Center for the Performing Arts is the center for world-class live entertainment, arts education, special events, dining, and more.
Thank you very much, Broward Center. We love you. Broward Center for the Performing Arts. Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out Television Studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m. every week. Folks, if you could just see what happens before the camera goes on. Next up, if we were standing around the LGBTQ plus water cooler, this is what we may all be talking about. It's sponsored by Hot Topic. Hot Topic is an American retail chain with nearly 700 locations, specializing in counterculture-related clothing and accessories, as well as licensed music. Hot Topic represents many varied interests of the LGBTQ plus community, including music, movies, graphic artists, gaming, and more. Hot Topic features one of the largest collections of pride merchandise that celebrates all aspects of the LGBTQ plus community. Hot Topic is a major supporter of the diversity of our community and supports many events, festivals, and nonprofit LGBTQ organizations. Very notable is their support of the Trevor Project, the LGBTQ plus community's most important voice for LGBTQ plus young people. And that's why they are the sponsor of It's Happening Out Hot Topic. For many LGBTQ plus people, life can be complicated, from being in the closet at work versus at home, to finding where you fit in when it comes to dating. For many of us in the community, we tend to find a place where we fit in and stay there. Some of us may identify with the circuit scene. Some of us end up in the leather scene. Others find their home in the gay circles, where life is about knowing important people and being invited to important events. The different parts of our community also tend to stick together. Bears stick together with bears. Transgender people stick together in their spaces. Lesbians stay at home. That's a joke that's not funny.
Because you are everywhere. Pause. Because you are everywhere.
I'm everywhere. Follow me at FayWhat.
And I'm behind you.
Everywhere.
And I'm behind you.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. And we're so worried about finding our safety that we are we so afraid to find are we just so afraid to find our safety that we are afraid to try new things? Look at this.
Congrats on the new business venture, Michael.
Thank you. I'm now a certified anal doula.
Isn't a doula for women who are expecting? Oh, Michael is an anal doula for tops who want to try bottoming.
Yes, it's actually a very similar technique. It's when a professional bottom, such as myself, coaches a top while they're bottoming through various stretching and breathing exercises.
Michael totally turned me out. I used to identify as a total top who couldn't even take a pinky up my bum, and now I can take a very long and thin penis for about 3 minutes.
You'll be taking fists by summer.
I don't believe this.
Well, believe it. I'm turning total tops into total verse tops.
I think this is disgusting.
Not really. I teach a whole seminar on douching.
I think things should stay the way they are. Tops should stay tops, and bottoms should stay bottoms. You're ruining our community.
Receiving anal is the future, Andy. Just look at how happy Mario is.
I feel pretty, oh so pretty. I feel pretty and witty, and I identify as a verse top now. Oh no, Mario, no. And I pity any top that won't try bottoming tonight. Look what you've done. He needs to stick to his own kind, one of your own kind.
Who's that pretty verse top in the mirror there?
What mirror?
Where? Who could that lubricated verse top be?
Such a pretty hole, such a pretty stretch, such a pretty bitch, such a pretty me. And I even found a hung top who wants to me. A top like that will give you sorrow. You'll have a hemorrhoid by tomorrow.
One of your own kind, stick to your own kind.
The gay bottom mafia.
You've upset them, Michael, and they're here to protect their cruise park.
No, but what of you?
Ah, cheese it, Henry. This is our territory now, and you converting total tops to verse tops means less dick for the rest of us.
Oh, please. What are you gonna do, suffocate me with your ass cheeks?
Leaves no fingerprints.
Who's that?
It's the Verse Top Mafia. I think they're trying to gain territory at the park and bottom here. Connor? What the hell? You me 6 months ago and you wouldn't even let me touch your hole.
I've changed, thanks to Michael's anal doula techniques, and we bottom here now.
When you're a top all the way from your first juicy butt
to your last aging twink.
When your verse top, let them do what they want. We got daddies around, and our cherries are pop. When you're a bottom, you're the top puss in town. Little boy, you're a bitch. Little bitch, you're a queen. The verse tops are here. Our vibe and chills are clicking. But you still can't take a chode
because you're out to chicken.
What you saying?
Stop! This is insane! Who's to blame for all this mess?
He likes to be in West Hollywood. Tops and the bottoms, West Hollywood.
For a small fee in West Hollywood.
I think you need to leave West Hollywood. You're not safe here.
But then, where am I gonna practice as an anal doula?
Somehow, someday, somewhere else.
Okay, fine. I'll leave WeHo and I'll practice as an anal doula in Riverside County. Did it work?
It did. But until then, tonight, I'm getting tonight with sons and dads and loads all over my face. Tonight, this park is wild and bright, going mad, shooting loads into us.
Okay, Michael Henry, do rent next. Our hot topic of the week, I'm willing to step out of my comfort zone, sexually or otherwise, if there's someone there to help me learn. All right? Okay, so the whole video was basically Michael Henry showing tops how to be bottoms, right?
Yeah, for sure. Listen, like when you have the right partner to show you the right things safely, you're willing to kind of take it out of your comfort zone. Me specifically, I won't do that. Like, I don't touch my butt.
I thought you were versed.
Lies. Oh my gosh.
You know, he couldn't even get that out of his mouth like without laughing. Come on, please.
Is this mic on? Don't touch my butt. No, actually, if we're seriously with the right people, like there's only times that I've been with the right partner or friend that I've taken it there. It's all about who you're with. Don't get fucked up and grab some stranger and try some shit because you're gonna break your second hole.
So I am not. Yeah. However, to your point, there is a certain level of vulnerability that happens when you're with someone that you trust. I'm very much clear to you guys who I am and what I like. But there are people who may like to lick around certain areas. Yeah, it may not get me excited, but if that makes you happy, and when I'm into you, lick all you want, but realize that's where it stops. And that's where negotiation happens. That's where it is. However, it's always about consent, negotiation, and communication. However, am I at the water cooler, am I saying, yeah, I'm going to let the doula talk to me and I'm going to have moments with the doula? Hell no. Like, it's a done rap. I know what I like. I know what I'm good at, and I'm done. But there's certain levels of negotiation and maybe bending that you're willing to do to make sure your partner is happy, because at the end of the day, that's how you keep your partner. Because what one partner won't do, that partner can find someone.
Did that change with experience, or was that something like, you know, from the beginning? I know people that are like, I'm a top, I'm never gonna bottom for anybody, blah blah blah, and then they tried it and they liked it, and then they found out they were verse per se. Yeah. You know, I mean,
my story.
Everybody has a story of exploration. I think that can happen in the beginning when you're exploring and doing things, and then I think that there's a different kind of exploration and guidance that happens when you're in a long-term relationship too, and you're having sex 2 or 3 times a week.
With the same person.
Then you got to be. You know, I think it depends on relationship, but that's why you want to feel safe and secure in that kind of space so that you can explore things.
Okay, so we're all around the same age. Max being, 10 years old is not here, right? You know, I did say, like, I'm like,
I bet you were talking
oh, no, I wasn't calling him Max.
I was.
No,
almost the same. We're almost the same.
Oh, okay, whatever. Yeah, we're exactly the same. Right?
Faye, finish
First of all, just so you know, nobody at this whole place knows my age, and they will never know my age.
I know your age. You told me.
I'm about to knock you out, like live on TV.
Do it, right?
Do it. God, no, you should totally say it. I dare you. I dare you.
Bring it back.
I want to see you slap him so hard. God, I feel these shots were. How old is Faye?
No, I'm saving.
I dare you.
Knock him out, Faye.
Oh my God, if he does, he's getting knocked out right here. All right, let's go back to what I was saying.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
How about
you get to a certain age where you evolve, right? You come out, you have different sex partners, you learn certain things that you like, right? Do you get to a certain age where you're like, that's it, I've learned all I can learn, I'm not going to evolve anymore sexually, I'm not going to try anything new. I'm in my 40s, okay? And in my 40s, I wanted to explore leather, okay? And that was something that I was always curious about, but worried and nervous that there was like some kind of like physical altercation that was going to happen, that I was going to get whipped, that I was not going to be asked about certain things.
And then you found your leather dually.
And then I found out my leather dually, and I was just, enthralled by this whole thing, Do we stop evolving? Do we stop wanting to learn more?
I think I think we're just curious. I mean, I've never done leather, but I'm very curious, you know, to be able to experience it. I mean, even what that thing that you had brought to the show once that you were doing on my arm, Faye ordered it on Amazon.
And he's still afraid to use it alone. Right?
Well, I want someone to use it on me. I mean, I used it, but I'm writing my dissertation while I'm using it on my arm. But like, I'd prefer someone else to use it.
It's sensory.
I'll show you.
It's sensory play.
We'll show you later.
A sensory blade.
Sensory play. It's for a sensory play. It gives you
what is it?
No, forget it. Look it up. Google.
We don't have time for this right now.
Google it.
Go ahead, John.
No, I was going to say, like, obviously you're not continuing to explore, but people should continue to explore because people like me who are like, I'm set in my ways 3 times in my life, I've been told otherwise or kind of shown otherwise. And my partner, particularly now, my fiance that I'm with, is very different. Sorry, I just spun you. It's very different than I. Like, I very much like penetration. He very much likes the foreplay. Foreplay involves a lot of variables, a lot of like variations of things, which I did not know were a thing. Just like sensory play, like it's some things that just was not in my brain.
But that's what he likes. And this is the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with.
At first, I was like, oh, ew.
And I didn't even know that existed until I had that experience with Mark.
And so,
yeah.
to your point, for me,
your husband's not watching, right?
Coming out in gay sex initial was all about the rubbing. So it wasn't even a penetration part.
Yes.
It was the rubbing. And so I thought that was gay sex. But the person was a little bit older than I. And so then he was that one who kind of said, hey, then we're going to do this. Kind of, I won't say grooming, but expanding and exploring a relationship.
Expanding, yeah.
We were together for like 3 years. Very much DL, very much dating women. So I had no clue. I was a little bit younger. So all I knew was banging the walls. And so then when it got to that part was of, hey, this is the next part of it. I knew it wasn't for me because I got no enjoyment. It was all kind of self-centered for him. And so therefore I was like, if we can't go back to the part where we both enjoy our moment,
you both are happy.
then it's
what's
not
the
for
point?
me.
Like you were able to evolve and learn and say, okay, I can do this.
Yeah, but you know what changed for me? Sorry, you know what changed for me is knowing that I was satisfying someone. So
that part.
Not only was I getting off on the act, I was getting off knowing that I was getting your ass off.
Yeah.
So to my point,
and that's what you've mentioned on a few occasions.
And so for me, knowing that I wasn't getting off, that wasn't happy for me. And so for me now in my exploration, it is about it's more about the service top. When we talk about, in leather, their tops, bottoms, role play, you don't have to always play that bottom role to be a top. Like, there's certain things that we do. And so for me, if I know that I'm making that eye roll, or I know that pleasure is coming, then I'm pleasured. And so therefore, that's exploration. And then we go to the leather, the kink side, then there's a whole different level of layers that come with that because pleasure evolves from so many different things. To Jonathan's point, you could do hours and hours of foreplay and not even realize that you've had foreplay and had emotional moments throughout the experience.
Shit, 4 hours. I got things to do, right?
But your body
like 4 hours.
Right.
So that's something I'm gonna explore.
4 hours.
But it's called edging. It could be called edging.
Yeah.
And again, that's something new. But until you're open to that with communication, with negotiation, and all that. But I will share this again. Me at this table, no thanks. Bottom doula, keep it moving. Back to that part. But I think it's all about where we are in our moment in life and where we're willing to go. Like you mentioned, you at a certain point where you want to try to see what your body will like, to see what you can push your boundaries. But guess what? We have the ability to turn back. But you were willing to do that, and I applaud you for that.
Because I didn't know that flogging would feel so good. I had no idea that pain aspect of it comes with such a wonderful feeling of yumminess after. I had no idea. Nobody told me.
I want to say it's an exciting kind of balance to seek out too, because you want everybody to explore and to be everything that they can be, but at the same time, when somebody tells you what they're about, that has to be respected too. That is the space that they're in. That's how they want to experience it. So I think we just always have to keep that in mind, that exploration is good, but let people be who they want to be. Right. Too.
And there's
we don't all need to explore everything.
And there's rules to everything that I had no idea. Right. Again, I came in thinking, okay, the leather community is going to be this, this, and this. One of the first things that Elimination was, okay, there's consent, there's talking, there's boundaries. I go, all that before the leather? What the hell? Like, you know what I mean?
It's not in the movies. Go from 0 to 100. It should never be 0 to 100. It should be a build-up.
I want to say,
what do you want to say,
Jonathan? How dare you? How dare you say that Trini is not into exploration? Because Trini has been exploring a lot. Okay. And I
Share. We're happy to explore.
Okay, so I went into, and I freaking hate that I'm saying this, but because I don't like to put out personal details, but I did go to a leather store, and I was like, amazing in leather, right? So I put this on, right?
Show us.
And the issue,
wear it next week.
The issue for me is trust. And the thing is if you don't have a partner that you feel like you're trusting, you're not going to explore.
Completely.
But as a person who always thinks about, like, what are they going to think 100 years from now about the norms of our society? I'm like, there's so much that we should be exploring that we don't explore, particularly straight people. I feel
Those
like
right-wing crazy people, if they would explore more their sexuality, they wouldn't be so hateful to us.
Exactly, and I think there's a lot for me to explore, and I'm willing to explore all of that stuff. But, finding the trust in the partner is the most important thing. And I think my issue is that I just don't trust anybody for good reason.
Well, that's good.
So you do know you do know that cow has been utilized for garments for eons, right?
Who?
Cow. Leather has been
Kyle?
utilized. Cow.
Is that a person?
Cow. As in
Cow?
leather
Cow. Like moo. Okay,
moo.
got you.
So people have been wearing cow for forever.
I love it.
So,
it's great.
But I want you to realize that people have now changed the mentality of what leather looks like. We've always worn leather. Leather was fashionable in the 90s, prior to the 90s.
It's just hotter now.
And so it's just hotter now. And so we have to now take back what they tried to make horrible to what they've always worn. Like, you go through history, they killed cows without
look, I got boots on right now that are freaking.
Can I just give a word of caution?
I just want you to realize
I love
that
it.
leather
I
is
love
not
it
a bad
all.
thing. Yes, leather is not a bad thing. I want you to bring back that.
A word of caution, though. Don't just go to a leather store, buy a bunch of crap, and then show
And we're all
up.
together.
Then show up thinking like, I am going to run this leather.
The chaps, the harness, the belt, the mask with the zipper.
It is what I did the first time. I was just so excited. I went out and didn't realize I was wearing like all kinds of conflicting signs. I had on, 6 handkerchiefs. I'm into all this, all of this. Front pockets, back pockets, side.
And I do have a harness.
It doesn't take a partner. It just takes a trusted friend.
Yeah.
Or conversation.
A conversation.
And so, please, let's be clear. Leather is not always sex. Leather is a feeling and an opportunity to just be who you are. And so often people get confused that leather is sex. And the best thing about this, and so Faye and I had a conversation about just going to an event. It was nothing sexual about it. It was just going because people misconceptualize that leather is always going to be about it. And when we walked in, all it is people of like minds who either like I got into leather because I like the way it smelled and felt in my body. Nothing about the sex. That came later. And so to Faye's point, and to that point is that just use it for your own beautification. Be your amazing Trini self, because Trini looks good in it. But have those conversations if you choose to go the next level and utilize it within the sexual realm.
Which is why Elimination and I are starting a TikTok, and we are doing an educational thing about the community and everything.
Did you
thank you for that.
Wow, did you know that?
Yeah, because he's going to be the demo bottom.
Wait.
It's time for that. I love that. All right, there you go.
Fit to go. Yes, we're done.
All right, we're there. I'll film it.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so explore your sexuality. Get out of your comfort zone. Be you. Everything's okay with a trusted friend or a trusted partner. Don't stay stale, okay? Gay community, we're not stale, okay? We explore, we do it all, and what we don't like, we say no to, and that's it.
Consent.
Right? Consent is key. Next up is our game, Shag, Marry, Chop. It is sponsored by Andrew Christian. Our game is a playful conversation about sex. Andrew Christian is a literal representation of that playfulness and the world's most recognized sexy fashion brand for men. Iconic names like Trophy Boy, swimsuits, underwear are just the start of Andrew Christian. Founded by and dedicated to the LGBTQ+ community, Andrew Christian has become a status symbol for straight men wanting to adopt the style that Andrew Christian represents. The brand's support of our community is unparalleled. Pride events, major parties, and charitable fundraisers, and many of the issues that have become critical to the gay community are supported by Andrew Christian. We congratulate Andrew Christian for making last year's prestigious 100 Out 100 list. The brand presence in pop culture, entertainment, video, and so much more is why Andrew Christian is our sponsor of Shag, Marry, Chop. I love those skirts.
That is cute.
I love those skirts, those little kilts are everything. This time our theme is it's National Hayden Day. That's a real thing?
What?
Wow, okay. So we're celebrating with 3 different versions of John Hayden.
Yes.
My brother John Hayden from Curtis tonight.
Wow. Set the tatas free.
Does that mean that we can shag, marry, and chop him?
Yes.
All
put
together.
all together.
Oh, a
All
big John
together.
Hayden salad.
Just
A big
kidding.
old
We love
soup.
you,
A John
John.
Hayden soup.
I love that. We love you, John, but we're celebrating with the other hot Haydens in the world.
Oh.
Bengals tight end Hayden Hurst. Actress and model Hayden Panettiere?
Panettiere.
Ooh, I love that. Panettiere. Sounds like a
Sounds like
a
fancy
little
panties.
pastry. I love that, right? Star Wars actor Hayden Christensen. All right, so let's play Shag, Marry, Chop, and we're going to start with elimination. Who are we going to shag, marry, and chop, sir?
So you had me at tight end, so I'm just going to shag Hayden Hurst. I'm just there for the tight end. Thanks and peace out. Thanks for coming. Keep your order.
Hopefully coming.
And if not, then we won't stop till it's done. I'm chopping Hayden Christensen. Nothing about him is sexy, just in my perspective.
Okay, no, of course.
Again, he's one of those situations I feel like it would just either be dry or mayonnaise-ish, and ain't nothing I can do with that.
Never saw him in Star Wars?
Again, I don't do Star Wars.
Okay.
So it's the Al Ferguson.
He calls
I call
Al
Ferguson
Ferguson
mayonnaise.
He calls him white bread and mayonnaise.
Wonder bread and mayonnaise.
So so that's what I get. So yeah, I'm not a Star Wars. The first Star Wars, 1970-ish, blah 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 blah, was the only Star Wars that I know.
Got it.
This new stuff.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay. All right, Mr. Mark Pettitt.
I'm not finished. I got to tell you who I'm marrying.
Well, then you should have done them in the right order.
Oh.
Shag, marry, chop.
Let's start again.
So no, but see,
Because I was like, okay, you chopped the Star Wars.
But I'm marrying Hayden Panettiere. She's so freaking sexy. Oh my gosh. And the leather and then when she was not only a child star, but then when she grew into her own and became a true a star today, I think she is so sexy. And I would marry her for days because she can teach me some things. We can probably talk around the kitchen table. And then that scene where you knock over everything after breakfast, I would love to do that to her.
That's it.
I'm sorry.
So you're chopping.
So I'm marrying Hayden.
Okay, and you're
I'm chopping Hayden Christensen.
And okay, got it. All right, okay. Mr. Pettitt?
I'm going to go for shag with Hayden Panettiere because I think that she would be really fun for a night out in Nashville. She's got a lot of good dating history that you could find out some good juicy bits on. So I'm just going to keep her around, but only for a night and mainly for the stories.
Okay.
Then to marry, I'm going to go for our tight end Hayden Hurst because he is like just a ginger lover's catnip when you see that man with his
he's a cutie.
shirt off. Oh, he is with multiple eyes. And then to chop, I'm going to chop John Hayden.
No,
just kidding. I'm kidding, John. I love you. But I would have to chop Star Wars Hayden
Also,
Christensen.
so 2 for 2. Okay, why?
Well, he's a great actor, but it looks like he is fading fast. Like the Grim Reaper is like on his shoulder. I don't know why he has aged from like teenager to 55-year-old man so quickly.
But is he doing something currently? Like, I don't...
Aging.
Okay.
Whoa.
Mark, that's not nice, Poppy.
Well, I'm chopping him. It's not nice.
Okay. No, I get it, but... God, you just made him 50. Like, just like that. Like, pobrecito. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, like, but he's like, he's slowly dying. He literally is like, he's slowly dying. What is he doing?
Right.
Slowly dying.
What is he doing? Aging.
Aging. Trini, I'm afraid to even ask.
Oh my God.
Okay, so Hayden Hurst, we're shagging because, I don't know, I like an athlete. I really have to pee, so I'm going to go quick. So Hayden Panettiere, I'm going to marry because I just posted a video of her like doing some ridiculous, stupid, like white girl crumping from some 2000s movie, which I don't know, for some reason turns me on.
You like it? Okay.
I do. And then the other guy, I don't know why. I think we're really similar when it comes to like these movies about like that white people like just completely are about. I have not seen any of the Star Wars with him. I haven't seen the Harry Potter movies or anything like that.
Lord of the Rings, any of those?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like look at it, but I'm like, whatever, and I don't care about it. So I'm chopping him.
That doesn't make him less hot, though. But I mean, he's aging, like Mark said.
Exactly.
He's aging poorly. Aging poorly. What have you been doing lately? Aging.
So I'm chopping him so I can pee really quick.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna actually elongate now. The segment. Like I was gonna go quickly because a friend of mine had to pee, but now that I know that you have to pee now, I don't know.
Here's another in me.
Please stop. Just let her go. Just let her go.
Like, watch them torture. This is the best torture ever.
Awesome.
Like,
I don't gotta pee.
I get excited over this.
Kal Gajraj, my honey buns, shag, marry, chop.
So I'm gonna shag Hayden Hurst.
Again, 3 for 3. What the hell?
Shag Hayden Hurst.
4.
Yeah. And so funny story.
Did you shag him before?
Since we have time. Since we have time. We have all the time in the world.
Oh, you have all the time.
Years ago, I did date someone who played in the NFL, who's not out.
Okay.
Who doesn't plan to come out. And the only reason why we stopped seeing each other is because his girlfriend moved here from LA. And I wasn't allowed to see him anymore.
Oh, so is he a dolphin?
He was a dolphin.
So,
or he came to training camp here.
Home,
that's
so
all.
Mike Pence. So Mike Pence might be out there in his other life.
And that's all I can say. Read my book.
That's twice. And book drop.
It's in the book. It's in the book. So I'm going to marry Hayden Christensen because I absolutely loved him in Star Wars.
Okay.
And I thought he was super sexy. Love the movies. Love him as an actor. He's like.
What else did he do? Like I'm like Star Wars. Like what else?
I want you to realize that.
Jumper. Yeah, he was in Jumper.
That was kind of funny in Star Wars.
Well, good news. Nobody's fighting.
But on this side, on this side of the table, what is he doing? Aging.
Yeah. No, he's worth like $12 million. So whatever. We'll have a happy life.
So then you're chopping
I'm gonna chop Hayden. Pettitt, even though I loved her in Heroes.
She was awesome.
You know, she was awesome in Heroes. Yeah.
And
the cheerleader.
Yes.
Was she?
She was in Guiding Light as well. Remember we talked about
soap operas? Yeah. But unfortunately, I would have to chop her. Since they
she's a girl?
Well, they canceled Heroes, so that's why. So I'm chopping.
So if Heroes was still going on,
could be, maybe. You never know.
Are you square?
Okay.
All about the clout.
Listen, I have a bottle here. If your penis is big enough, you can.
You have no idea.
I don't want to know either. Jonathan.
So y'all done fucked up because you put Hayden Hurst on the screen, and I just want to chop everybody else. That boy is fine.
Okay.
And so I'm gonna shag Hayden Hurst. But I'm also going to marry Hayden Hurst. But if I had to choose someone else to marry, it would be Hayden Panettiere because she's absolutely gorgeous. I love everything that she does. You can't go wrong. I love Hayden Christensen in Jumper. That's one of my favorite movies for some reason. I don't know why. But I'm going to have to chop Hayden Christensen because I just didn't really feel him in Star Wars. And I don't remember him in anything else other than Jumper. So, but Hayden Hurst, get at me, homie. Like,
you love it,
with that tight end.
That New York, I loved all of that right there. Yes.
All right, well, with so much shagging and marrying and chopping, let me remind you of what we love and why we love Andrew Christian.
Unleashed are my design concepts and aesthetics set completely free. Unleashed is young, attainable, conceptualized high fashion that I've always wanted to create without any constraints. Unleashed is fluid. Art. Universal. Attitude. Irreverent. Living without limits. What we all desire. What we truly crave. Unleashed can be you. Unleash yourself.
Thank you, Andrew Christian. It was awesome meeting you the last couple months ago. And you met him too.
Yeah, I met him at Pride.
Wasn't he adorable?
Yeah,
like
he was
those
super
cheeks
sweet.
of his are just so
he was really
sweet.
nice.
You cried?
Huh?
At Pride.
No, Pride.
I was like, you cried?
No.
I've loved you forever, Andrew. Your underwear. It means the world to me. I came out in your underwear.
All right, love you, Andrew Christian. Thank you so much. So it's time to say goodnight. So let's hear from our host from one final time. A good night from Mark Pettitt.
Good night, everybody. Take these topics home. Take them to your friends. Take them to people who don't agree with you. Change some minds.
I love that. Okay. And a good night from Jonathan Casanas.
So I want to say goodnight to my fellow castmates. I will be moving closer, so I feel like we should be hanging out.
Yes.
You're moving to Broward?
That's it. I'm moving to Broward.
No!
Milton.
No!
Now it's your turn. You got to move to Broward.
You didn't. You did?
Come on, Faye.
All right, I'll turn off the light when I leave Miami. I might be the last one.
We're gonna, and then you'll be finally the last gay boy to move to Wilton
Be
Manor.
closer to my brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Poppy.
Can't wait.
You can afford a house in Wilton? Nice.
No,
Nice.
Chris can.
No,
Oh no, it's Oakland Park.
Pause. You said Oakland Park, dude. Don't do that.
Listen,
Don't do that. I will flip a table. I will flip a table.
Oakland Park is Wilton Manor's light.
Adjacent.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Adjacent.
Wilton adjacent. Wilton adjacent. And I love living there.
This is all Oakland Park Bud Light right now.
I did not.
The Bud Light of Wilton Manor.
But we kept our lights on when Wilton didn't during the flood. I mean, during the hurricane.
Right?
Wow.
Well, welcome to Broward, Jonathan. I love that you're moving up here. Elimination, a good night from you.
Good night, my kinky siblings. Another great show. I want to again give a shout out to those folks who are traveling to New Jersey for that thing that we do in April. Next week we'll have a new Miss International, Miss Leather and Miss Bootblack. Take care of our siblings. Just because they don't play like us doesn't mean they're not as important as we are. We have to celebrate our diversity. It's always a message. Message can be ran clear whether you're speaking it or not, but live in our actions. Remember, we got where we are through protest.
I love that.
Yep.
Thank you so much. And a good night from Kal Gajraj.
Good night, everyone. This was exceptionally fun tonight. But I think what's really important, and I know that we get really excited about prides, and we've been to so many this year so far, and it's only April, and there's so many more to go. But I think that, you know, advocacy work goes a lot further than just going to Pride. And I wish that the majority of people who I do see at Pride in these festivals would go out there and live this day in and day out and fight the issues and know what's going on, you know, and it's not just about showing up to Pride in your latest, you know, Speedo and harness, you know, nothing wrong with that, but Pride is much more than that.
Yes, it is.
And like we were talking before, you know, it's a form of protest, you know, and we're living this day in and day out, you know, and we're being threatened. You know, our drag queen, you know, sisters are being threatened. Our lives are being taken away. You know, our trans sisters are also in the same boat, and it's heartbreaking. You know, so I just want everyone to just go out there and be able to be an advocate and be an ally to someone. You know, if you're a gay guy, be an ally for a lesbian friend. Be an ally for one of your trans friends. You know, expand your circle of friends. You know, and that's what I think Pride should really be about.
I love that. Gay cross promotion.
Yes.
That's what we should be doing. Well, that's it, folks. Another week with It's Happening Out. You sat right here. What?
Good night from Trinity?
No, we don't need to say goodnight from him. So you sat right here at the LGBTQ plus table as we kiki on the things that are important to our community. You know, our community is being attacked, just like Kal just said. And, you know, we might not all the time agree on all kind of issues. Even at the same table, we might not agree with everything. But we stand together when it's time to fight. And that is exactly what we need to do right now. So just like Kal said, hey, cross, okay, intersex everything, okay? Go and find that lesbian. Go and find that trans person. Make a friend. Ask questions so you're not like Trini, okay? That is my special message to you today. Follow everybody that's at this table on social media, where we each are advocates and activists in our own way, and we're always doing events and things to just to shine light on that. Okay, so follow us, follow the network on social media to see what we're doing and join us. All right, you never know, you might end up with a really close friend that is different than you. Wow.
Wow.
So we invite you to follow our 501c3 nonprofit experiment. Is our LGBTQ plus community important to you? Our mission means that we deeply believe it is. So pick up Hotspots magazine on newsstands all over South Florida. Queer News Tonight, covering the LGBTQ plus news of South Florida, America, and our world, is daily and live at 8 p.m. Or you can watch me when I'm on it on Monday and Wednesdays. Or you can watch it on demand on Roku, Apple TV, and many other television platforms. And our flagship is with you right here tonight and every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Because remember, if it's important to you, it's happening out. Until next time, good night.
TriniDaddy.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Lara are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ+